Let's do it.
Oh dear. I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Dust. Wind. Dude.
Don't you understand, Steven? Somebody has to kill the babysitter.
I'm too old for this shit.
Kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games. Don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
Mockery. Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again!
You hate to do it, but at the same time, it's hilarious. Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith. I am your host, The Fractured Filter. Along with me, as always, my co-host, my friend, my pal, my brother from another mother. Joining me with me, as always, Jay Hitman. How are you tonight, sir?
Let's go. So pumped to finally be back to where I can actually talk, rant, rave,
right?
Utterly eviscerate
everything and anything
that I
out
want
there.
To go after. I was, I was in the presence of the nieces, so I couldn't really call anybody idiots because I got to set a good example. And,
you had to be appropriate, yes.
Yes, and then it's in your neck of the woods, I think, and for whatever reason, this roads down there are absolutely terrible.
Oh, my old, the old territory.
The reception is absolutely terrible. I think the sun's closer to where your old stomping ground. It's just overall just terrible. So, so pumped. So
Let's
pumped
go.
to
Let's go. Okay.
Let's,
we are episode 72. We are climbing the ranks, getting slowly but surely closer to the illustrious 100. God dang, who'd have thought we'd still be at this for so freaking long? It feels
catch us at Disneyland issue episode 100.
No thanks.
Catch us wouldn't it be crazy if we did something like that? We should just like, we're just gonna do like this spontaneous I
would not pay the money to do that. They'd have to pay me.
Listen, if drunk 3PO can do this, I'm sure we can maybe go and just see how bad it is.
All right, so we did have some people already in the chat earlier today before we did start. Jason, hello, sir. He says, hail the Fractured Filter. Hello, sir. He was in there well before we started. Thank you for showing up. Crimson Raptor, hello there. Wolverine Snicked, hey there. Welcome. And Jason again back in with some bunch of emojis of pink hand waving that we can't see because the StreamYard doesn't properly translate that. But hey, that's all good. All good in the hood. So how was your trip in hell?
It was hot, man. I think I got radioactive poisoning.
Hotter than here?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Straight up radioactive poisoning. The beach, I think is what you call it. I call it hell on earth. The beach is terrible, absolutely terrible. This stuff that's on the ground that's like really coarse, that's glitter. It's absolutely terrible. Here's the thing. I was actually thinking about this.
Glass. That's called glass.
Is that what it's called?
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful around there sometimes.
I would I
There's
now
so many
know,
broken bottles and homeless that
Yeah.
you have to kind of be careful of what you're stepping on.
So two things. I've never wanted, when Candrace, talks about glassing a planet, I've never wanted to more in my life glass this beach.
California, the California coast.
Yeah, and two, I can now fully understand why Anakin hated sand so much.
You see his little
Like people want to call him just this crybaby, that you hate sand and when a Padme, Robot Chicken did an episode of Star Wars where it was like, it was Palpatine and Vader. We have to try to figure it out, but it's like Palpatine and Vader, and he's like calling stop crying before I tell Padme or whatever it was. But I was just terrible.
I think I played that as one of our outros before we settled on the Macho Man.
Yeah. So I've never wanted to glass a place so bad in my life. At least one portion of it. And just the sand's just terrible, man. It's hot for no reason other than the sun just doesn't like people from California.
Well, darn. I know my aunt still lives in Cali, and she said she was kind of at least from my old neck of the woods, was still getting the overcast and kind of foggy, chilly and stuff like that. But my area, old area was always kind of bipolar like that. Yeah,
and then here's the thing: if you like, there's a dividing line that apparently it's like the north and the south, right?
Right.
For those that are in the United States, like the old Confederate, north south. Like if you're in California and you're north of this line, and say that you're south of this line, fights happen. Like, I'll give you an example. If you are a SoCal
right, person SoCal versus
who
NorCal
engages in a conversation with a NorCal person,
yep.
Boy howdy, let's place bets and see who wins.
My area was just a centrist centrist almost, area, so we were kind of like the middle. I think we were the meeting ground for some of that stuff too.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as Star Trek and Star Wars fans. Now, I know you're gonna say, "Well, I like Star Trek," and there's people like both, like Tim and Greg. But here, Greg and Tim are peacocks.
Right.
They're unicorns. There you go. Very, in my opinion, very, very rarely. I'll say this: in my life, I've only met probably 3 people that like both, and these 3 people are either secretly geniuses. That's all I got. Just genius. I don't know. Like their IQ's probably through the roof because I just don't get it. Like it's either you one or the other. You can't like both. It's like Tupac, Biggie, Star Trek, Star Wars. Chocolate milk, regular milk.
East Coast versus milk. West Coast rappers.
East Coast, yeah,
like that.
I almost said you like the American leather or Italian leather. The Italian cow that moves with an accent, or the good old American cow that tells you where to go.
Yeah,
there's no middle ground, but apparently, yeah. So it's very funny. It's very funny, man. So I'm just gonna tell people, next time I get out there, I'm just gonna tell them I'm from some other country, so they can't. So I'm from France. Or Switzerland.
You don't have to pick a side at all.
No, I'm French Canadian. So you can't hate me.
Well, Canadians haven't exactly gone on people's happy lists anymore. So
only if you're a Justin Trudeau follower.
True enough.
So it's the same. It's almost as bad as being a Biden follower, but that's fine. Whatever.
Hey, you want to bring the pain a little bit early because I've got something for you, especially you as a DC fan.
Let's see.
Yeah. Okay. So, question: have you followed a lot of the DC animated stuff? Have you been into any of that? Or are you mostly stuck in the comic?
Heavily into it. I stopped after Conroy died. After I was just kind of right. And it's sad. It's sad, right? So I haven't really followed much since then. I mean, I still have my feelers out there. I still have my spies in the woods per se, but haven't. And then comics, man, it's just and then they're pumping so much out, man.
And so, have you heard about there being a new Superman animated series coming out?
No, I did hear since you brought it up, they casted the new DC Superman. The new like actual like live action Superman, which this guy looks like a twig.
He looks like a Henry Cavill light.
So.
But it's funny. Anyways, part of my point with some of this is, are you familiar with the Japanese anime Sailor Moon?
Bite your tongue. Do not go any further. I know where you're going with this.
Because apparently, Superman is joining the Sailor Scouts.
Is that what you posted in Discord that I just scrolled over and didn't even want to open?
Yes.
How do you do this? I come back from vacation. I'm well rested. I'm ready to go, and then you start up with.
Exactly. I got to bring you back into the pain, brother, because I've been looking at all this shit. I've been keeping an eye.
Ron, why did you say that? Why? Why, Ron? What? You're my hero, Ron.
Garth,
You come out with stink like that? Poop. Poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
That's all I have to say to you right now.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, here we go.
This needs something more. Well, definitely shorts.
You don't think people will recognize me?
So yeah, what do you think of Superman going Sailor Scout there, transforming into his Superman outfit?
I love you and hate you at the same time. I did not.
You were unaware of this.
No,
unaware.
I was on Discord this morning.
I'm not taking his bait. I'm not going for it.
No, because you do this. You do this. You sit. It's like you sit there and you're like, what can I do to get under? Listen, for those of us that are listening, I'm going to go on record and say that he is literally getting me back for all the Kyle Katarn crap that I gave him on Darren Anderson. He knows that
I do it from a place of love.
He knows the love I hold for DC, and he's like, let's do this.
What harm can I bring to you?
Yes, it's very Sith. Well played. This is it's garbage. This is absolute garbage. This is.
I think back to the 90s. The 90s Superman. I'm like, that was great. That was a great cartoon for the day. Yeah. I'm gonna have to find that and rewatch it sometime. But I remember enjoying it, even though I was never a big Superman fan. I enjoyed that cartoon.
Did he just open a Pokeball?
I don't know. Hang on. It's like, he's kind of. We get to see Superman's O face. Oh wait, no. I got another clip for that, but it's like we kind of get his O face, but then like, yeah, this is like full on a Sailor Moon transformation. Let me just find a Sailor Moon transformation really quick. Hang on.
The only thing I can think,
I wish I had that ready really quick.
Is there like?
Here we go. Oh, you're gonna so hate me if you don't already. I'll probably have to mute this because they'll probably the weebs are always sensitive. All right, hang on. It's already starting out positive. Come on, what the? Oh, you stupid thing. Why are you going so slow? Knock it off. What the freak? You know, I normally don't perform like this. I'm usually very, very on point. But I'm sorry, it's buffering. Stupid thing. See, it's trying to save you. It's trying to save you here. It's like we will not allow Fracture to damage Hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you stupid freaking! I'm finding a different one. Maybe this is something with that video. It's just screwing it up. like I said, this has never happened to me before. What is going on? This is ridiculous. Like I said, I've never had this sort of thing happen. Usually everything acts accordingly. Here we go. Maybe this will work. See, we start with the hands. We get into it. There we go. Although hers is a little more performative than Superman's was, but you see what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Western animation has gone completely to shit. They no longer lead in terms of what to do, how to set up their animation and stuff like that. No, they are now doing what they can to ape anime and manga because they're getting their butts kicked by it. But that is what is happening to now Superman. He is transforming like a Sailor Scout. Then, thanks to Mr. Bug on Twitter for this one. Even he says, the fuck is Superman, not the fucking Flash.
Yeah.
This is Lois Lane. What is your thoughts on this Lois Lane?
I don't know what I'm looking at.
If anybody that watched the
is that the same person that girl that was in Andor?
It might be, but here's more of the going on. Now it's going Dragon Ball Z. I just need to start yelling, ah! Thoughts?
I just
Lois Lane.
I just don't know. It's like Sailor Moon meets Dragon Ball Z meets Pokemon. This is just dumb. You know, like people can the old DC Titan show, the cartoon was better than this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
and like Mr. Bug, apparently he says, seems I needed to clarify shit. Superman is not supposed to spark like a power line, but Superman Blue, that book sucked and we all know it. It's an anime trope. It doesn't make it good. Don't, okay? Good. I just wanted to, Super Saiyan Sailor Superman.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it.
This is absolutely trash. It's just trash. Like I don't understand like what the point is. Like if you want to do, DC meets anime, like fine. Like it would be no different than like what Star Wars did with Visions, right? Because that was supposed to be like a Asian take on.
That was like the whole point of it. It was meant to be.
Right, but everybody knows. Anybody who's a DC fan, I'm gonna get my encyclopedia out really quick, and I just want to see if Superman, if my encyclopedia tells me if Superman had any electric power, like if he could
was Super Saiyan 2 and had electricity floating around him like that.
Because this encyclopedia, this is canon, the true canon, not two canons, not canon. Like no, this is just dumb. But he never had that. Like anybody who knows anything about Superman knows that he typically went to the phone booth and basically took off his clothes and his he
found a secluded area of some kind. Changed.
This is just absolutely just asinine. This is asinine. This is literally again just like, oh, it's sparkly and pretty, and I just 72 episodes, man. 72 episodes, and you think that we've been in this
You've
game
seen
long enough
everything.
that we've seen everything, and that we could at least at some point in time come to the table and see, I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand why they did that, or I could see why they did that, or did this, or did what.
Yeah,
this is just dumb. Lois Lane looks like Lewis, and
yep.
He is just nowhere in canon, and again, like people's like, well, you know, if movies and TV were just like canon, it would be, you know, like the comics would be boring because you've already read the comics, you know how everything ends, and it's like, well, like no, like
that's not the point. The point is to see the stories that we love in movement, not just stills in a comic panel. But
okay,
actually
here we
like,
let's just dissect this for a minute. Okay, so like we saw this clip. So what power does Clark Kent have that would allow him to do that? Like, is it?
I mean, the only thing is that his super speed breaking the sound barrier, but otherwise,
he's idle. He's idle. This is legit. Like he farts and the thing, like it just transforms. Iron Man.
His clothing thing.
Yes, Iron Man didn't have the capability, like his Mark V armor or whatever.
Yeah, well, and Iron Man sometimes had in some cases like a suit or a suitcase, I think that he transported around, and then later, yes, he had nano machines, son.
Right. Bruce Banner is the Hulk was the only one that I can think of that could instantly transform, and that's because he just
that was
at the cellular level, he just turned from human to green, right? This is just dumb. This is dumb.
Didn't the Flash have his costume in a ring?
Yes.
Well, helped him kind of do that.
Yes.
And then like
the
Green
one thing
Lantern
CW
was just like
right.
he used the ring to.
So this would be more like, I guess, Green Lantern's level stuff. Because Green Lantern had the ring, and then he used the ring.
But I mean, that makes sense. That's using the power of the ring to give himself an outfit.
He just ate 2 AA batteries and farted, and then got. And
then suddenly he's wearing his super suit.
I'm dumbfounded. Usually I can finagle my way or weasel my way out of something. This is just dumb. This is literally Sailor Moon. This is Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and the animation is just crap. Like it's just crap.
It looks bad. Like
bad.
They are just full on aping.
I don't know what they're doing. Well, I don't understand if this came out prior to James Gunn or while James Gunn isn't off. Like, I almost said office.
No, this was, I believe, in production prior to James Gunn coming.
James needs to shut this stuff down. He should never have let The Flash go to production. I don't care if he should that movie should never have gone to production. He should have shut it down. And it's like, well, you don't know, J. Man, there could have been legal contracts and whatnot. I guess I'm not too knowledgeable about the contracts, but hell, I guess no. My rebuttal to that would be because Henry Cavill probably had a contract too, and they told him bye. So that movie should never have come. The CW had better graphics than that movie. I didn't watch the movie, and I will not watch the movie. The best part of that movie was Michael Keaton, from what I was told. But the running scene, CW. The Flash had better.
Isn't that amazing that the CW managed to put on a better Flash than WB movies? Yeah,
right. And so that one, that came to production and became, was released. And this James Gunn needs to shut this down. You need to shut this down, James. I know you're a Marvel guy, and I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt because you're in DC.
Need to shut it down, dude.
James, I know you're gonna listen to this later. I'm telling you, I didn't like you because you came from Marvel, but you're at DC now, so I've got to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm telling you right now, for everything that's good, shut this down. Shut this animation, this Sailor Moon, Jigglypuff, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z. Shut it down. How can you like this?
I don't know.
To each his own, I guess, is the old adage. But how can you absolutely?
Nobody's gonna actually watch it. That's the funny thing. Even the people that this is supposedly geared towards aren't gonna watch it either.
Even the Blue Beetle could he went in. He had his costume or whatnot, but he had the Beetle. He had the Scarab. There's
Is that
this
right?
guy. There's nothing he has that can justify like why this is happening.
Yeah,
He doesn't like.
it's never been something that's just been
knowledge,
associated with Superman.
To my knowledge, I don't think Superman is telepathic. But even that, but that
I
doesn't.
mean, they've added so many powers to him.
I'm just trying to figure out like how you could justify this. Like, well, it's a cartoon, J Hitman. You don't have to justify it. Like, no, you do, because it still makes no sense with all the powers that he has. There's nothing that would allow him to just instantly change his clothes from. No, why it's a cartoon? It's for kids. Why are you worried about it? Stop. Just
Yeah.
Just you stop asking questions. But there's nothing to justify it.
No.
My thoughts on it is just trash, and James needs to shut it down. This it's dumb. And to your point, like you're more of an animated guy, and the what do you call it?
The anime shit, yeah.
Is it Eastern anime? The old and like
whatever, it's Japanese anime. Whatever.
Japanese anime, like you're more familiar
Eastern
with that
anime,
yeah, you're more familiar with that than I am. But I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z every day after it was Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z after school. Was I supposed to do my homework? I didn't do my homework. I watched this like disrespectful. At the end of the day, disrespectful to Japanese animation and all that, because this is just absolutely asinine. Absolutely. I'd rather watch paint on my house dry than watch this. I'd rather watch mold grow. I would probably rather watch some CW shows.
Oof. That's saying something there, brother.
I heard Legends of Tomorrow was really, really bad. I'd rather watch Legends of Tomorrow.
I've heard things like Batwoman and stuff like that is absolutely atrocious on there, and I don't know if even you'd want to watch that
compared to this.
Compared to I don't there are certain things that I don't always know if I want to take it to such extreme lengths, and
I would probably rather watch the Marvel movies than this. And I just don't like Marvel.
I know you don't. Yeah, so that was definitely the thing I kind of wanted to kick things off a little bit with. Especially when I saw it popped on my Twitter. I'm like, oh my god,
somebody out there trying to give me a heart attack.
Says a bit off Crimson Raptor says a bit off topic, but did you see Hulu added Dragon Ball Z Kai? I'm reminded that it's good but weird compared to the OG. I was unaware of that bit of news. I don't know. The Dragon Ball Kai I'm kind of mixed on, because I like it in the respects that it basically trims everything down so it's closer to the manga. In that and also keep in mind I don't listen or I don't watch the American dubbed garbage because fuck them. Japanese subtitled all the way, the true way to watch Dragon Ball now, or always has been. It's the original format. But I didn't mind it. It was a little weird, I think, with some of the re-edited scenes here or there touched up, but it's like now I've kind of gone back and rewatched Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z in its original format. I still enjoy it, even fillers and all. So, but like I said, I like that the Kai is trimmed down to be a little more closer to the manga. And hello, Prismatics. Welcome to the stream, buddy. But also, Jace had dropped this earlier, and I was waiting to save this because we were going to go into that. Kathleen Kennedy is out. OMG, OMG. Oh, wait.
Don't believe
Heard it since 2019, etc. Yes. That is definitely hang on. I thought I already had it ready to go, but I do have it here because while I hate rumor mill bullshit, it is sometimes entertaining to at least talk about here or there. So, on to this. Yes, another rumor claims Kathleen Kennedy is now gone from Lucasfilm.
I don't believe it. We've read like 9 articles.
No, I know, and this is kind of a funny thing because, we'll get into this, but yes, another rumor making the way that Kathleen Kennedy is now gone from Lucasfilm. The latest rumor comes from Twitter scooper ThwipT_, who writes, "I'm hearing Kathleen Kennedy is gone from Lucasfilm," and this is apparently because of the Indy 5. Scooper, so this is part of the reason why people are especially jumping on this, is that the Scooper has been right on a number of previous scoops, including Nicolas Cage appearing as Superman in the Flash film, that a Harry Potter TV series was in development at HBO Max, and Andy Serkis would appear in Andor, and more. Following this rumor that Park Place Investigate journalist Jonas J. Campbell relayed on the WDW Pro, that sources informed him that I love that sources say, quote, "The word from Burbank is that it was very late night there, and that there are factions forming. We got the Civil War is still going strong, boys and girls." Forming underneath Alan Bergman and Dana Walden, the head of Disney Studios, to say that there are 2 factions forming that are fighting over this exact issue, whether it is marketing or the quality of the film. How many times now? We've been already hearing this sort of very familiar shit. Civil War at Lucasfilms, but originally that was supposedly Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were standing against Kathleen Kennedy. Now they've just replaced it with 2 new actors for their little play. WDW Pro then posited that it is our understanding, based on this source and other sources that we have, that the Alan Bergman's camp, they are no fan of Lucasfilm as it is currently constituted. The Bergman camp is not a fan of Kathleen Kennedy and is pushing potentially for Kathleen Kennedy to leave soon. He continued, "We believe that Dana Walden is potentially in favor of Kennedy staying and in favor of this marketing be damned kind of approach where they say it was commercials, it was the trailers. They did not do good enough job explaining what this film was." At the end of the video, WDW Pro did hedge. "We are waiting to see what happens." This is basically like Doomcock saying, take it with a grain of salt. Yet every time they just love pushing forward any narrative, and when something just happens to be a little bit right, which is funny that it's the person only spreading the rumor that is right, not the source that spread said rumor. Saying we're waiting to see what happens. We do not have concrete evidence that Kathleen Kennedy is gone, but there is smoke. There is growing billows of smoke, and don't be surprised, folks, if in a month, 2 months, things are beginning to happen at a rapid pace. This cannot continue. These scoops or rumors come on the heels of YouTuber John Campea, who claimed in November 2022 that a source informed him that Kennedy would be removed following the release of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yes, I've heard that as well. It's been one that's floated around. Mainly that this was kind of the last movie she wanted to be a part of and then be done with. So again, where she'd be probably leaving on her own accord. But Campea said, "This is what I have heard. I have heard that the decision to remove Kathy Kennedy has already been made, and that she will be gone either sometime before or very, very, very shortly thereafter the release of Indiana Jones 5. He added, "Now I want to be very, very clear here. I cannot independently say to you and confirm that this is a fact. I will say that one of 2 people that have contacted me has 1,000% average on things they've informed me of. Name them. Fucking name them. If they're real." Let's stop messing around here. Let's start getting some names on these people. Are we gonna keep having a Sparrow? WDW Pro at the Park Place had previously claimed in July 2022 that Kennedy would exit the company in late 2023 after the release of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He wrote, "What I had been hearing for years is that Kathleen Kennedy wants to finish Indiana Jones 5 and she wants to continue having Star Wars influence," kind of like what I just mentioned a moment ago, that was meant to be Indy 5 and that was going to be it. He later noted, "I think that Kathleen Kennedy may finally sunset her obligations at that point. It will likely be late 2023. And of course, plenty can change between now and then." Making Star Wars, Jason Ward also claimed Kennedy would exit the company following the 5th Indiana Jones film. A recap of Ward's paywalled podcast was shared to Reddit by user Sidon Ithano, and it read in part, "Jason heard that Kathleen Kennedy will step down as Lucasfilm president after Indiana Jones 5, but will still produce movies. Kevin Feige will run Lucasfilm." I doubt that. I mean, I'm not believing the rumor mill that Feige's out. Oh, no, Kevin Feige. Never mind. I'm getting them mixed up. I'm getting Favreau and Feige mixed up.
Yeah.
My bad.
Feige's
in charge of Marvel, last I knew.
Yeah.
And look at what that's turned into. My bad. My mistake. Sorry. Backpedaling a bit. Kevin Feige will run Lucasfilm, but will have separate divisions run by other people. I am not reading that block of text. That's not worth it. Because it finishes off, what do you make of these new rumors that Kathleen Kennedy is gone from Lucasfilm and that Disney executives are splitting into factions to lay blame game over the box office results of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery? What do you think?
You asking me?
Yeah, you. What do you make of all this crap?
About this article or the movie?
The debate. Well, no, not the movie. The rumor of KK finally being gone, being out.
No. I think this is just, this is my opinion. I think this is just somebody trying to get their 5 minutes of fame.
Agreed.
I don't know, man.
I can agree with that.
Like, it's a rumor mill. So it's like you and I could literally just have an opinion and write an article. Like, where are the facts? Like, has Kathleen Kennedy, like, as much as I want her gone, has she said anything about leaving?
Well, and I could just basically, I could even come in and say, so I've just gotten this email that reports there are photographs spreading around of Dave Filoni in a furry costume at FurryCon. My sources have told me this. Wait soon to find out.
No, I think, I don't know. Has Tim talked about this Doomcock guy? I've heard a lot of stuff about this Doomcock guy.
They've brought him up on the spacing. Darth Melvin has done exposed videos on Doomcock, and
I don't know.
Raging
Doomcock,
Rhinos talked about him.
Yeah,
he's a rumor mill monger for sure. Like I found him back when some of the things were popping off with the whole Phantom Menace stuff.
Yeah,
people were then finally people got angry after Last Jedi.
There's no evidence to back your claim up. So it's like, hey, Fractured, Kathleen Kennedy's out as head of Lucas. Well, how do you know, Jay? Man,
your sources.
I was at
just trust me, bro.
Yeah, man, I was at Disney.
Yeah.
Okay, well, like, what do you mean? Like, we at the park? We thought, like, where were we at? Well, I was just at Disney. I just heard it. Well, who'd you hear?
I was hanging out at the water cooler, and I just happened to hear a conversation.
I heard. It's like, I heard it. Well, from who? Just undisclosed. But believe me, like, this is gonna happen, right? Like, it's just, I think it's just someone trying to get their 5 minutes of fame to start a rumor. But no, like, she's not gonna leave, dude. Like, she has the cush job. She has the cushiest job, the cushiest job ever. And here's the thing: if they were gonna fire this woman, she would have been fired a long time ago. She would have been fired. She should have been fired. Force Awakens, if not earlier. Well, I wouldn't say that because it was I don't know. I definitely during Force Awakens was she's just been out, if not earlier, right? So, and then everybody wants to come out and say like, oh well, she's going to be gone after Indiana Jones Dial of Diarrhea. But that's, I mean, that movie came out, it's out. People are, that's a whole nother issue.
Right.
As it does, but no, she's not like. And Kevin Feige, let's just look at this for a second. Like logically, if she was to be out, and Kevin Feige was going to come in, Kevin Feige, he's already running Marvel. He can't do both. Maybe he can do both. I don't know. Never met the guy, but like Marvel on its own is a lot. But to that point, like in my opinion, I don't think Marvel's like phase set. I don't know what phase they're on. It definitely, I don't think Marvel's doing that great as far as like, and this is just my opinion, but ever since Eternals was just garbage. Like, so yeah, like phase 1 and phase 2 were decent, but like ever since Eternals, like I don't know what, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess Doctor Strange.
I knew that did not prepare.
I just don't know, man. I just
performed quite that well. So
I don't want to get it because it's just all my opinion, and people like I am biased because I don't like Marvel. I think Marvel is just absolute trash. So I can't be the one to ask it, but. Or I guess I'm not the one to be asked about it, but like that's a lot to take over. So unless they're going to find somebody else to cover Marvel, and then Kevin Feige come in, but I've also heard this too. This is a title. This is like a wives' tale where Kevin Feige is going to make he's going to run Lucas. I've heard this before. Right. I will have to try to find the article. I don't know if we've covered the article. I'm sure we have. I've read an article where people have talked about Feige taking over Lucas. So
yeah.
My opinion, it's just an article. It's somebody trying to get their 5 minutes of fame. They have nothing to substantiate their claim. So at the end of the day, it's just a claim. It's just your opinion. You know. So no, she's not going to be out. And until the proof is in the pudding. And here, and we've the old saying, like the proof is in the pudding. Here we sat at the dinner table. We have no pudding, and we're at the dinner table, and we're waiting for her to leave or to be out. Like so.
Yeah. I'm with you 110% on that one because yes, when this was first kind of making the rounds, I was already like, no, this is gonna be bullshit. But the thing is that she's gonna leave when she's damn well ready.
But let me ask you this though: if there was any out of everything that she's done, to this point, if there was any moment where she should have been gone, like look at everything that she's done, and let's grade it on a scale of just brush fire to dumpster fire, right? Like,
right.
Everything she's done is a dumpster fire, and they haven't got rid of her. And I don't even know who can get rid of it. Like Iger, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be.
But she's she's probably best friends with Iger. So, like, at what point in time, like, how bad?
Considering she was there, supposedly picked by George Lucas.
So was Filoni. Filoni will say the same thing, like, "Oh, George was my mentor," and then just like
stab him in the back.
Episode 68 or 69, whatever episode we were on, where he comes and says, "Well, Kathleen's my mentor." So you spend all this time stepping on the back of Lucas. Don't get me on this because I will rant until it's 9:00 at night. Like you step on the back of Lucas saying he's your mentor and that you learned everything from him, and then you're gonna talk out the other side of your mouth and say Kathleen Kennedy. Or however he worded it, I don't even know how he worded it, but it's very snakish.
And this is the thing about all this, right? That for one, like it is, she'll never leave on her own. And hello Wookie, hello, and like he says, she has dirt on everyone, which is probably true, but she's gonna leave.
The sole reason why George why he sold. I until they put me in the ground, I will always believe that Lucas was forced to
there's a degree of truth to that.
She has dirt on everybody. Now, what did George do? Don't know. Right.
Well, he's not from Kennedy's end, but from Iger's end, there's a degree of truth that he's almost kind of forced into selling to them.
But to your point, she is literally who? Oh my goodness!
She's probably been the fly on the wall.
She's President Hoover of the freaking FBI, man. She has dirt on everybody. She has the tapes.
She's gotten a lot of coffee for a lot of powerful people.
She probably has the tapes from the JFK assassination. She probably knows who did it. Newsflash: it was the government. But she probably has the tapes. She has the microfilms. Did you ever watch the movie The Rock with Sean Connery?
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Of course.
She is Oh, John, she's Mason. She's Mason.
Right.
John Patrick Mason. She's got the microfilm, and on these microfilms, she has dirt on everybody. Roswell landing, JFK assassination. Has the last 150 years of secrets. She's not
the big thing about all this too is, yes, you can get Kathleen Kennedy out of Lucasfilm, but there's still a problem. You still have all the people that are still there as part of Lucasfilm. You still have Dave Filoni in charge of creative. You still have, at least at present, for as far as we know, Jon Favreau, who hasn't been producing much of any good in there. You still have all the people that, well, we'll see about that. But regardless, we still have all of these horrible people that are in there that are happily ruining Star Wars.
Guy? What did? Okay, so there's a movie. It was the first Captain American movie, and and the guy, I don't know, the German guy, Nazi guy, he's like, cut one head off and 3 more shall rise, or 2 in second place.
Oh, for Hydra or some shit like that. Yeah,
it's literally the same thing. Like you get rid of Kennedy. To your point, you have Filoni and you have Favreau. Let's just take Favreau out of the equation, because I honestly, my gut tells me, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I think Favreau is going to go to DC. I really do. I think he's going to go. He's going to go and
that's been a rumor that's been floating around.
Now,
too.
The claim that I have, right? I don't know if it's technically evidence, but I'm basing my opinion off of the fact that I think there's been a decrease in his. Like, you look at what the movies he's done, like Iron Man and everything, to like Mandalorian. Like, I don't know, you can just tell there's been a drop. Now, the argument you can make is, well, he's not actually the one running it. I just feel like the passion I think he's lost his. This is subjective. Let me start this by saying subjective, and it's an opinion, but based on what I've seen with him, I think I just think he's done, and I think he's pissed off. I don't know if he's pissed off about Filoni getting that. I just think he's done. I think I think they screwed him over, and I think he potentially can go to James. But again, it's all subjective. I have nothing.
Well, and this here, I think, is the biggest, and this was posted by Razorfist. This, I think, is the biggest thing that kind of goes to show what has happened and why Kennedy is where she is.
You see this all the time at the level of the top producer, who, between them or separately, will make flop after flop after flop after flop. I'm not going to name them, but I know who they are. And they're not all American either. And they still get paid huge sums of money for being in films that nobody wants to see. And producers make pictures out of which they take enormous sums of money. And the films, again, are not films people want to see. They're always going to blame somebody else. Always, not their fault. No, you were the one who said, or whatever. And there's a word for that. It's called upward failure. You see it all the time. You see this all.
Count Dooku can't be wrong, and he ain't wrong.
It's funny that he called this, because he's been gone for a while, and he called this. I don't know when this interview was.
I don't know either. Yeah, but
it had to have been post Sauron and.
Yeah.
Post Dooku, I would assume, obviously, because Lord of the Rings.
Hell yeah. I was getting to it. Give me a moment, brother.
Why didn't you look at Rumble?
Because I have it going. But okay, hang on. Let me. I didn't want to kill our flow. But over on Rumble, we've got great people over there. But Acid dropping $2. Thank you, sir. Saying. She is a Kennedy. She is entitled. And also saying Jar Jar will always be the best Star Wars Sith Lord. You think. But there we go. There you go.
So you've heard my pit. I've said, I don't think she'll ever, what are your honest thoughts? Do you think this is just another tired old wives' tale?
Yes. I think this is a rumor. We have to, if anything, we're going to have to wait and see. And more than anything, she is going to leave when she damn well feels like it. What I liked is the way Tim put this. is basically this rumor milling shit with the possibility of Kathleen being fired. It's hope grifting. That's exactly. They're just preying on people's hopes.
Like, where's this?
I know. Exactly. That's just it. But they're these people that are spreading and happily going about these rumor mongering ways. They are falsely spreading hope, and they are hope grifters. And it's the best way that I've heard it put so far.
I'll
He was
say this.
absolutely right.
I mean, let's take Force Awakens out, and we'll take what was the last
Rogue
Jedi,
One,
like
Last Jedi,
Okay,
Solo
so
lost money.
What of all the movies that she oversaw, right? And obviously, you cannot sit there and say that, not you, but like nobody can sit there and say that she didn't oversee it, right? Because she's the head of Lucasfilm, right? Head of Hydra. Out of all those movies, how many of those movies were actually profitable versus not profitable?
I mean, they
versus
were all
break even?
technically profitable because even Rise of Palpatine made a good chunk of cash. The thing is that yes, they can make their cash, but they still were received very poorly. So unfortunately, they technically made bank because, for one, Force Awakens. Let's face it, everybody was waiting for new Star Wars. They weren't waiting. And this was the thing. The Clone Wars was never a ratings grabber. That's why they had to bring back Darth Maul to get those ratings. So people were more, because everybody saw Star Wars as a film franchise. At least all the normie population. Let me kind of correct that. The regular folks saw Star Wars as a film franchise. They didn't see it as a book franchise. They didn't see it as a comic book franchise or a TV franchise. They saw it as a movie franchise. People were waiting for a brand new Star Wars to come out. We were getting it via Disney. Everybody was curious. How is this gonna play out? We were hearing some okay things here and there. I mean, for some people, they were already out because they had already killed the expanded universe. They already said we have turned it into Legends. We are not touching it. It's out. So some people were already out, but the fact of the matter is, yes, we were getting a brand new Star Wars in however many years, right? Since what, 2003 from Revenge of the Sith?
Right.
Till whenever the hell's Force Awakens came out. I forget exactly. 2015? Something like that. But it blew up. Naturally, it blew up, and people were on a Star Wars high. They wrote it, and then it just kind of became also all right. When it came to Rise of Palpatine, all right, let's see how this stupid thing ends. And they did, and it was disappointing as all shit.
Yeah, well,
but it still made the money. So unfortunately,
technically, yes. But okay, so let's say from a feedback perspective, then again, that's, I guess, subjective, because there's probably are people out there that actually like the movie, but I don't know, man. I think with as much hate as Last Jedi got, and then it's like, oh wait, hey man, they only got hate from your side of the fence is what people hated. We loved it. I don't know, man. I still go back to the fact that clip that we showed how many episodes ago, like in the beginning stages of they had like the 12-foot section of just Ray dolls that were clearanced out. Or not even clearance out, but like, you know.
Oh yeah, also like all the Rose Tico dolls and stuff like that clearanced out. Yep.
I just think that they like she's not. You can't hold her accountable. Yes, I can, because she's the head of it. No different than if James Gunn messes DC up, I will hold him accountable because he's the head of it. It doesn't matter if Marvel's tanking. Like whoever is the head of it owns it, right? There's
takes the responsibility for it. Yeah.
So it's her responsibility. This has gone to pot real quick, you know. But again, it's also frustrating because like you do have people that actually like it. So it's like on our side of the fence, like you're screwing this up. You have literally destroyed Star Wars, and then on the libtard side, they're like, oh no, we love this. We love this.
We actually love it. It's a great movie.
It's gonna be the savior.
Watch any of now, like. Rhino has been clipping out his seals of the week. Watch some of those. They're hilarious because, good Lord, the seals come out for Last Jedi and they try their best to salvage that freaking movie. It's hilarious. Let me get to some of these comments now. Prismatic saying, is that really true? We have to wait and see. That was when we were first jumping into the whole KK being out. Jason saying she's not out, and if it ever happens, nothing will change either way. We definitely tackled that. Crimson Raptor, happiest place on earth, LOL. Crimson Raptor, I tell people to be careful what they wish for. If KK does leave, they'll replace her with someone just as bad. Things aren't going to magically get better at Lucasfilm. Absolutely 100% agree. And that's kind of what our point was when it came to, yes, she may leave, but you still have Filoni that's in charge of creative. You still have all the people that were hired potentially by Kathleen Kennedy that is in there.
Bro,
in charge of the lore, in charge of everything else. So it's
we didn't even think about this though. What if she left and it just becomes even worse? What if she's the one that's holding Filoni back, like keeping him
back?
Have you ever thought about that? We're over here thinking,
oh my god,
we're over here
oh my god, you could be right.
Like, I'm not even joking.
You might be onto something there.
Like
he could be 1,000 times worse than he already is.
Maybe, just maybe, and I'm not trying to defend her, but maybe, just maybe, she's the one that's keeping this. She's been
tard wrangling him. Oh my god, you could be right about that. You could be onto something there, sir.
Like I don't want to believe it, but can you imagine like if Filoni became head of it?
Oh, I would no. That would be called end times. That would definitely be called. Okay, we're no longer touching anything Star Wars.
No, but I'm just like I just thought of that. Like, what if she's the one that, like Filoni's the cat and she's got the spray bottle. He's like, get back in your cage. He's like the persistent, kid that's like, I want ice cream. Can I have ice cream? Can I have ice cream? And you're like, you give him a little bit of like leeway just to shut him up.
Right.
But you never give him the whole thing, because if you give him the whole ice cream, then they're just going to be up for just all night. And then you're going to have to deal with this.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I have had thoughts, though.
That's a good point.
That Faihi, maybe, just maybe, because again, at the end of the day, I don't want to hate Star Wars. I don't want to hate it. But maybe,
I hate. I'll say I hate Disney Star Wars. I don't hate Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
Well,
I
for
still
sure,
love
but
it.
maybe, just maybe, Faihi could do a better job. Then I don't know.
I doubt it. Not with the direction that not Star Wars. The direction that Marvel's taken. No, it'd be just as bad as Hands, and maybe he would tard wrangle a little bit better on Filoni.
I need Elon Musk to find a way to buy Star Wars, or I need
to find a way to buy Star Wars,
or Apple, or some and again, Apple's
everybody's fucked.
Well,
game over. I'm
Elon
sorry, I don't mean to
do it, or Trump sell Mar-a-Lago. They already rated it. There's nothing there. Sell Mar-a-Lago. Buy Star Wars. Make Star Wars great again.
There we go.
2024. That's what he's gonna. That's how he's gonna become president. He's gonna buy out Star Wars, and he's gonna run for president. He's gonna get reelected because he's going to make Star Wars great again. And out of all the crap that's going on right now, I feel like this is probably a pretty big issue that we need to settle. Star Wars, the state of Star Wars. Don't care about the border right now. Care about Star Wars.
Crimson Raptor also said if they can't name their sources, it's because they don't have any.
That's exactly who did that. Crimson
Raptor.
Good on you, Crimson Raptor. Thank you so much for posting that. That's exactly true. If you have sources and you don't want to say, if you don't want to name them, you don't like. You might as well say your source is your carpet.
Yep.
Why are you afraid? Oh, there's
okay,
NDA. What? I signed an NDA. I can't release my
I'll get fired. Well,
fired from who? You're an independent journalist.
You shouldn't be leaking information then.
Who you can get fired from?
Scared.
If you're an independent journalist, all these people like Doomclaw, all these people, they're not working for anybody.
No, the people, the supposed sources, the supposed leakers inside the company could
Good. They
potentially
can.
be
Who was
fired.
the guy that like moved the guy that knew everything about the Clintons and moved to like Switzerland so they couldn't get to him? Assange. What was his name?
Oh yeah, Julian Assange.
Yeah.
Right.
The Indians didn't stop him.
Brandon Tran, hey man, how's it going? Good to see you in. Says, yeah, Disney not replacing Kathleen Kennedy as Lucasfilm president is a really bad decision. She's a franchise destroyer for all Lucasfilm properties, Star Wars, Willow, and Indiana Jones. Let's also throw in there, good old Jar Jar Abrams himself has helped destroy many a franchise. And as we've kind of, if you've looked out there in the world, he hasn't exactly been very active.
I think I'm not a Star Trek fan, and Tim will probably come through this computer and choke me to death. But I feel like the was it Voyager with the female?
Yeah,
I feel like that was a better series than anything Abrams did with Star Trek. And that's saying something because Voyager was trash.
I was gonna say they'd probably agree because they already hate Jar Jar Abrams' Star Trek anyway.
Oh, do they? Okay, well I wasn't.
Oh yeah,
sure, but like
a lot of the. See, this was the thing. Okay, this was the thing. My first really kind of watching something Star Trek related was the Jar Jar Abrams, the first movie. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of a fun, actiony sci-fi flick. But I didn't really understand like where some of the hate was coming from the OGs. I was like, it's a fun movie. What's the big deal here? And then I went back and I watched the original series, with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and all them. Yeah. And I started to see more of the like there was some space adventure going on and stuff like, but there is a lot more for the social aspects and stuff like that. And it was kind of like I kind of break it down very much to bros in space because you had Kirk, Spock, Bones. They were generally kind of the trio that was always together, getting shit done and stuff like that. But it was I thoroughly enjoyed that original show. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, oh, I get it. They really did tone down Star Trek in a major way. And that's what Jar Jar Abrams did. And that was my mistaking of thinking that Jar Jar could potentially have done Star Wars properly because he did have a little more of an action feel and all that. I was like, maybe he can pull this off. How fucking wrong was I? I admit it. I was wrong. I have eaten that crow. He definitely Jar Jar Abrams has helped destroy many a franchise as well. Hail Sir Christopher. I don't know what that's about.
It's like misery loves company, and they're going to basically hang out with. Oh well, we're all franchise destroyers. So we're all going to be friends, and we're going to destroy you. It's like you've destroyed one, you destroyed one. We got to team up and destroy the biggest one of all.
And you get a franchise to destroy, and you get a franchise to destroy, and you get one to destroy. Acid saying everyone wants her gone at the same time. She signs a new 10-year 10 movie contract. Exactly. Brandon saying Marvel has some L, but The Flash really flopped, losing to Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I didn't really like the looks of Rise of the Beasts personally, and I didn't like that they had what's his face? Ron Perlman voicing Optimus Primal. I didn't like that idea, so I have not touched that flick with a 10-foot pole. I might eventually somewhere down the line check it out.
Let me just ask you this. So why is it that like these people who specialize in like they're producers, they're directors, all this and that, they've been in the movie game, all this, that's probably a dumb way to, I guess, a parallel, but like I guess what I'm trying to say is our only hope is Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. This boy has done all of these movies, and every single one is just great. I need to watch through them. I've only seen the first one. Great one. I've not seen a singular bad Mission Impossible. Right?
Really?
Nope. all good. I've only seen like 3 of them, 4 of them. But there's like 6. But out of the ones I've seen, all great. That boy, as crazy as that boy is, Tom Cruise, like he does all of his stunts. Like it's a great franchise. No, and so it's just like how can you? It just comes down to like you say the passion and the want to do it, and this boy's done all of them. But then you got Kathleen Kennedy over here who has more accolades in regards to directing than Tom Cruise does. I don't know if that's exactly true because Tom Cruise did play a part in Top Gun and Top Gun 2. Maverick. But I was saying you specialize in being a producer, director, or producer. Is she a producer? She's not a director. I guess she was a director. She's not a director.
She was
producer,
right? She never did anything on the creative side. She was always a producer.
Yeah. But like the amount of people that you've worked with and under and learned from, like there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. Absolutely none. There's no excuse. Abrams,
I agree.
His accolades, no excuse.
100%. And he apparently has directed some of those too.
But
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. So I guess how do you? I don't know. It's just so hard because it's like on the other side of the fence, they'll always say you guys are subjective and you're biased. You're old grumpy cotters that like.
Yeah, go fight. Exactly. We're going at it with a more objective lens. You are this is basically all of those freaking retards out there that
don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
That's all they're ever doing. They're just waiting to consume the next product. They aren't actually looking at they just switch their brains off. And yes, I understand wanting to do that sometimes, but your movie has to actually be good and coherent and consistent. All the things that we've looked at from like even the freaking Star Wars shows that we've reviewed, you need something to flow properly for your movie to still be good. And then I can possibly turn my brain off and just have fun and enjoy the movie. You know, and sometimes I like to nitpick for fun. Like as much as I love like the Back to the Future trilogy, I'll still kind of poke at it for some of the time travel aspects and stuff like that. Just to have a little bit of fun, just to kind of, my brother and I will kind of get a little extra critical here or there. It's a good time. It's stupid to do it, but we've done it with Bill and Ted as well. Even though that's just a pure comedy movie. But it's still kind of fun to play around with the whole things of, okay, well, this is their time travel rules. You're kind of getting some weird territory here or there. This doesn't make sense. Well, how does this actually pay forward? So just those little things like that, you know, it can still be fun and you can still nitpick in a fun way, but it's like a lot of times it just doesn't work out. Brandon saying Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer could be a movie of the year and beat Dial of Dysentery at the box office. He used a real nuke with no CGI. Hot diggity damn. But it's still like gonna be kind of an overly serious movie and stuff like that. So it's probably not gonna be a big draw for the normie crowds necessarily. It's not gonna get a lot of people in. Potentially, I could be wrong. Maybe word of mouth and stuff like that. If enough people are talking about it positively, it could do well. Who knows? I mean, Nolan still, last I knew, had a good reputation for putting together good movies. So that should be a banger for him. Wookie coming in with, they think you are stupid. Most people are. Well, it's kind of like that, the whole thing in Men in Black between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, and he just kind of talks about how, you know, your average person is smart and can be capable and stuff like that, but when you get them when you start looking at the crowd of everybody, then they start getting stupid and retarded and stuff like that, and it just goes to hell in a handbasket. I completely butchered the way they just talked about it too. I'm sorry, I didn't remember the exact quote. Crimson Raptor, Marty made out with his mom. She technically made out with him, and then it did end in a very awkward way. At least that ended awkwardly, unlike it didn't really quite end awkwardly when Leia put the big smooches on Luke. But yeah. Well, you back, Hitman?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I saw you flick on and off with the mute. I wasn't sure if I need to keep vamping or not.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Old beans. So yeah, that was amazing what we can get out of just some rumor mill bullshit.
But the people that write in these rumor mills, these articles are probably laughing at the other end because they're seeing what it does to us.
Right. Oh, that's a good possibility. It's the old what Hollywood has adopted, which is hate marketing.
Yeah,
basically.
So she's not. But at the end of the day, she's not leaving.
No, she's here to stay to annoy the shit out of us until the end of her days,
or our days,
or our days. Who knows? So, trying to decide what would be good to go into next. I want to kind of save the Mangold stuff for a moment because he's got a couple of things that are interesting, especially the one that you posted in Discord. But,
that one,
yeah. So I don't know if have you played any of the Witcher games?
No, I don't know who does that franchise. I've not played any of the games. I know Henry Cavill does the live action version,
Yes.
but I have not.
The games are great. I enjoyed them. The first game especially was what created the PC Master Race meme out there. Thanks to Yahtzee Croshaw, the reviewer, he kind of sparked that meme out there because it was a very technical game, especially with the extra stuff that you wanted to do with the potions and all that jazz. They really got involved with it. And then they toned a lot of stuff down as it got to the sequels. A lot of it, its first originally was hype or had a positive thing with Brandon coming in with, did you guys talk about Superman Legacy? Clark and Lois actors confirmed casting yet? We touched on it really quick about that, but mainly the actor who kind of looks like Henry Cavill light. And I kind of got into a little bit of torturing Hitman with the Superman animated series that's coming out soon or is out now.
Don't even say it again.
Sorry.
Oh,
but,
so bad.
But when it comes to back to the Witcher, so I even tried checking out one of the books. I personally did not like it. I didn't like Geralt's portrayal. He kind of came off like a whiny bitch that was getting even talked down to by a freaking minstrel. I didn't really. I'll maybe have to give him another shot. But I've heard the only good thing that I've heard about the television series in particular was the casting of Henry Cavill and how he's very passionate and enjoys the series. He's played all the games, and then his portrayal of Geralt is. And I've caught a few like clips of him doing the role. I mean, he's basically like kind of mimicking the voice actor, or at least trying to, from the video game, and does a good job of it. But they've run into some problems because Henry Cavill is very passionate about keeping to the source material, respecting the source material, the lore, the stories, and stuff like that, the characters themselves. And they've come out before with saying how belligerent he is and all this sort of shit. And I think we even kind of touched on some of those, a little bit of that. But now what's really funny is they're kind of taking another shift with this new season that's out. So after smear campaign attempted to paint former star as toxic, Netflix's The Witcher cast praises Henry Cavill as a, quote, very supportive and funny, good-natured professional. Like it is. This is very funny how they are now kind of backpedaling with this new season that's recently come out as they're doing the PR for this. Because like they already said it in the headline, they were trying to paint him as a toxic individual that because of his desire to want things to be accurate and everything like that, that he was a problem. And he even was trying to make friends with, he made friends with one of the writers on the staff, but then and was kind of almost forming like a little alliance of his civil war, right? But he was trying to get, you know, just some more proper source material things. Like, think of it like the way we complain about Star Wars not respecting the EU source material and stuff like that. So he's been trying to do that, but they did a whole smear campaign against him, and now this is his last season. But he's been like basically the draw for this series. So in stark contrast to the attempted smear campaign that was launched against the fan favorite actor in the wake of his departure from the series, the returning cast of Netflix's The Witcher series recently praised Henry Cavill as a good-natured professional whose presence is cemented in the DNA of the show. This latest sentiment towards the former Geralt actor was offered by series stars Freya Allen, who plays Ciri, Anya Chalotra, Yennefer, and Joey Beatty, who plays Jaskier/Dandelion. During a pre-season 3 premiere promotional interview given to comicbook.com's Matthew Aguilar, near the end of their time together, Aguilar asked the group, what was it like filming the final episodes with you guys as a group, and how are you feeling about that, and how excited are you for the next chapter? And Liam Hemsworth, who is replacing Henry Cavill, which nobody can... Got to feel bad for the guy trying to take on this role now, especially with the fact that Cavill has cemented himself as the live action version so well. From my understanding, I still haven't watched the series because I heard about the casting and stuff like that, and even the creator himself is a huge kind of lefty retard. So a lot of the like changes didn't surprise me that he would allow. So anyway, near the end of the time together, Aguilar asked the group, what was it like to filming? How excited are you? Yeah, Hemsworth of Cavill, to which Chalarotra, I butchered that, I'm sure, answered first with a rather unenthusiastic declaration of excited. This video was super like, I guess the only way to put it is very cringy, because they come off. I hate that word now, but it was very true. It's the accurate description, because they were all very awkward about talking about the subject, almost like they were a little forced to, or like they were being very careful about what they were trying to say on the matter. So it says, yeah, can't wait to have Liam on board. Well, he is, but to meet him and have him as Geralt. The actress continued, it's going to be bizarre, and I feel like I'm definitely going to feel that loss. I think we all will. Henry's been incredible and carried the show, so definitely going to feel that, but very, very excited for what's to come. There's so much story to tell. And if this wasn't a streaming show, potentially we could actually get viewership and ratings and stuff like that, and it would be amazing to see the exact stark difference of what would happen once he leaves. Because like it is.
Did he say, so did I miss why he's leaving? Did I miss on the article, or is he just done with it? Or is it the
creative differences?
So they
I think was one of the things floating around about him leaving, but also I think he was just also kind of, because of those creative differences, he was just kind of out. And now he's going to be actually in charge of a Warhammer 40K show. And he's also very passionate about that franchise. So that'll be a very interesting thing to see. But yeah, so he's out. He's tapped. He's done. Like he tried. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wonder what kind of creative differences.
It, like I said already, it was mainly the stuff that he was trying to keep the source material. And like there was a scene where his horse had died. And they wanted to play it off as a joke. And apparently he just ended up ad-libbing like a little actual, like took a serious moment and did a little speech for his horse Roach. And ended up, I mean, they basically said, yeah, you can do whatever you want, basically. But he did it, and everybody loved it. It got put into the show even. So he knows what what should be done for this character and stuff like that. But the head person didn't want anything to do with it. The showrunner didn't want any of that. They just wanted to insert the quote unquote the message and everything, and like it was, they race swapped Yennefer and other characters. I think even Triss, which is very this is supposed to be basically set in Poland. And yeah, no, sorry guys, not a whole lot of ethnic people are gonna be in Poland. At least certainly not for like a medieval setting. So it's basically Polish mythology. So really in that realm, kind of like Lord of the Rings and shit. So yeah, and I gotta say, this gotta suck to be Liam Hemsworth getting thrown into this. Jesus. Okay, so I think it's intriguing and exciting to get to see another version of this or interpretation of this character, added Alan. Likewise, Beatty asserted, yeah, very excited, and we'll miss Henry greatly. And as you said behind the scenes, he's always been a very, very supportive and very funny, good-natured professional who was always the first to laugh on those bad days and crack jokes. And that presence is cemented in the DNA of the show. So how can you replace him if he's cemented in the DNA of the show?
Mm-hmm.
Said the fan favorite actor. Quoted, yeah, cemented in probably us playing our characters, Alan then noted. I know that I won't be able to help but visualize him going forward. It's just that it's been Geralt, but I'm still really excited to see something new as well. While the praise of Cavill from Witcher's core cast likely comes as welcome words to actors' fans, as noted above, the sentiment expressed by his three former co-stars stands in stark contrast to those allegedly expressed by the series production team. In December 2022, celebrity gossip podcast Deux U relayed to his listeners a story purportedly sent in by an unspecified member of the Witcher team. So more rumor mill bullshit? Which claimed that Cavill was, for all intents and purposes, the living embodiment of the straw man conception of a toxic dude bro. The dude's a fucking nerd.
Who?
Cavill.
Oh yeah, did you not? Oh, I've talked about this on the show, but did you know he missed Zack Snyder's?
He almost did because he was playing World of Warcraft. Yeah.
Well, no, he ignored it once, and then he like called him back or something.
Oh, okay.
I think is what I remember. He's like, and then he got called. He's like, yeah. He's like, I missed his call because the guy was like, so I heard that you missed Scott Snyder or Zack Snyder's call? He's like, yeah, I was playing World of Warcraft. I was like in the middle of a battle or something.
In the middle of a raid or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's big on the.
Oh yeah,
he's big on that. He's talked to people in interviews that are like World of Warcraft fans too, and they'll play together. Like they'll do it. Like he'll invite them.
They'll group up and everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He's not a nerd. How dare you? He's just cultured.
Yes, he's cultured. Exactly.
Yeah, you said nerd. Disrespectful.
I did. At the beginning of the show, wrote the source, Henry was good to work with. A lot of unusual demands that made people feel like he wasn't really a team player, but that's not unusual for a big star. Though in TV, it truly usually doesn't happen until the second season. But in season 2 and 3, something shifted, and he became really impossible for women to work with, which is always a big problem, they continued. But even worse here, because the showrunner is a woman. Last I heard, he also he mainly was like backing away from doing any kind of like nude or sexual scenes with the female cast. And that's actually a really smart move. considering the whole Me Too movement and stuff like that, and the way they can cancel anybody for the smallest indiscretion, even if it's real or not. So honestly, I don't blame him one fucking bit. Quote, he would try to overrule her and try to get changes made last minute across the board without her knowledge, said the individual, which, if you know anything about show running, is completely fucked. The showrunner has to sign off on every minuscule detail down to the buttons on a costume. Continuing to paint Cavill as a rampant misogynist, the source added, female writers and directors were suddenly completely ignored on set, unable to do their jobs. Every department head was complaining. He started making comments. It wasn't a sexual thing. He wasn't grabbing anyone or being lewd, but it was disrespectful and toxic all the same. He was just trying to keep some fucking lore in his damn show. It's because you guys wanted to pump out your message and use it as a freaking soapbox like everything else. Next, attempting to paint Cavill's love for and dedication for accurately portraying the series' source material as an inherently bad thing, the anonymous accuser then complained he's deeply addicted to video games to the point where it's like working with any other addict. He's doing it probably because to get away from you shitheads. He was distracted, he was late, he was obsessive. They stated, making reference to the actor's noted love of CD Projekt Red's Witcher 3 Wild Hunt video game, and a lot of people think that the misogyny came from Gamer World. I remember hearing about this. Video game bro language is not how you talk to coworkers, and he wouldn't stop. Someone on the show compared it to watching someone get brainwashed by QAnon. His whole personality shifted. He was probably just done. He was fed up. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go play some fucking video games. You guys can get back to me later.
It sounds like it's very one-sided in an attack.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't bend the knees, so he's not
exactly. Exactly. You got it. Nail on the head there, brother. Eventually, his disrespect escalated. They further recalled he would rewrite scenes without even alerting the other actors in the scenes until it was time to shoot. He decided that he didn't want any romantic scenes at all, no kissing, no shirtless scenes, etc. He wanted complete control of storylines, but really had no idea of the limitations of TV structure, budget, etc. They went hard on this. He formed a weird alliance. This is what I mentioned earlier. He formed a weird alliance with one writer who was also a gamer, who eventually got fired after multiple HR complaints were made. They got him fired. They found he was actually making friends with somebody and got the dude fired. They isolated Cavill, basically. They othered him. He was completely without any support structure. This is basically what I'm hearing. They told the Deux Moy, and after that writer left, Henry did anything he could to hold up production and cause problems. In terms of his exit from The Witcher, the source explained, eventually top brass at Netflix was tired of him costing them money with delays in HR investigations, and showrunner was asked to construct a potential exit for him. Netflix reached out to him personally, and he was given one final warning and violated that warning with an email he sent to the entire writing staff right after that meeting. They concluded that was it. So did they put out the email? Did they give us this email? What's this email? I want to know. I got to know. Ultimately, the dissonance between the actor's sentiments and the attempted smear campaign begs the question of whether the feelings expressed by his co-stars are genuine or an attempt by Netflix to switch PR strategies after failing to take down Cavill, but unfortunately, it's unlikely the public will ever come to know the answer. Sadly, that's probably the case. And yeah, Crimson Raptor, to my proud toxic gamer bros out there, hail. No, this is. I'm wondering if this will be something of a thing we might see here or there, where they're going to try and backpedal.
it seems like they're besmirching his name. Like they're trying to because he
Oh,
didn't bend the
absolutely.
knee and he didn't conform to what it's like kind of like I don't know, very Gina Carano-esque in a sense. Like
A
he
bit.
doesn't, or like the guy that like what was his name? Adam McDonough or Neil McDonough. He played Damien Dark on the CW. Dude's like devout Christian, and he refuses to do any scenes, any bedroom scenes or kissing scenes if it's not with his wife.
Good man.
And
Good on him.
and he got flack for it. And they
Of
said
course.
very hard to work. They basically were saying he's very hard to work with, or was hard to work for because he wouldn't because of that. And and so it's just like,
how dare you have some moral upstanding?
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you have morality and all that? But this just like I didn't read it, you read it, but me sitting on the other end listening, it just seems like well, you didn't do what we wanted, so you're just difficult and just basically trying to nitpick and come up with anything and anything they can to besmirch his name.
Yeah, basically.
I'm biased because I like Henry Cavill. I thought he did a pretty decent job as Superman. But that's what
he had the absolute look for it, and they wasted him completely.
Yeah. So
at least from my understanding, I haven't watched Man of Steel. I watched
it's
Batman
hard
v
though
Superman.
because you can't. I mean, oh, what was it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. The original Superman.
Are we talking original, or are we talking about? Well, no, because remember they had a Superman on the TV and stuff like that portrayed by different actors.
Yeah,
but no, you mean Christopher Reeve?
Yes,
you mean Christopher Reeve. Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's hard to be like I'm gonna.
No, that he was
nostalgist or whatever you like. It's hard to just like it's hard to fill. Well, Adam West is an anomaly because he was but it's hard to fill Adam. West.
I don't care. I thought he was great as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
he was fun as hell.
So it's always hard to fill those shoes, but like I thought he did a pretty good job. But again, like back in the day versus now, like you could get away with a lot. Oh my goodness, Blazing Saddles! Like you could get away with a lot more back then, and you could I feel like have the freedom to kind of take that character. I'm not saying you don't today, but I think people are controlled. Well, I just feel like
you're gonna be right. They are control freaks.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like you've heard, I mean, look at it. As much as I didn't really like Deadpool 2, but Ryan Reynolds was allowed a lot of freedom apparently to ad lib a lot of different scenes, so that helped also bring a new personality to it. I mean, there have been a lot of cases where actors were allowed to improvise or bring in, what they thought maybe the character would do if they did research the character and stuff like that. They were allowed to give feedback and stuff like that, and some directors did embrace it. Some directors they went, no, I have my vision, we're doing it. And sometimes that can be good, sometimes that can be bad. You don't always want to completely relinquish your creativity of something that you want to see produced or made, but when you're adapting like a comic book character and shit like that, you should be remaining to what has been set in stone from the comic books themselves, the source material, that sort of thing. You should be respectful to that and bring the character to life on screen.
Yeah. No, you said it perfectly. I think, they created freedom and whatnot. So,
yeah. Because this has been another thing. Even also, so not only did we have the Witcher cast kind of backpedaling a little bit, but the Blue Beetle director completely changes tune, asks moviegoers to give his film a chance after mocking them over Batman's a fascist line. Did you ever see the trailer for Blue Beetle?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and did we watch it on here? I don't remember.
No, I don't think we did.
Okay. But you caught that line right at the end of the trailer.
Was it by George Lopez?
Yeah, saying how Batman's a fascist.
Yeah, I think he's a Bruce Wayne or one of the two.
No, he said, Batman. Batman's a fascist.
Yeah. Which I've had my issues with George Lopez. Like I used to watch him growing up. I thought he was funny.
Funny.
Yeah, funny. But like he's done that. He's very. it's I don't know. How dare you call somebody who's not white a racist? But
No, yeah, is there accurate term for it?
I'll call him a racist, and he'll call me an offender of critical race theory. So, anywho.
So
yeah, I caught that. It's like you just, and again, it's like, how is he allowed to say that? And how is that able to get past? Like, how are you able to actually say that?
Well, yeah, why would you put out a trailer that mocks or just tries to break down further your money maker? Batman has generally been a money maker.
They did this in Mandalorian, though. They broke down, or Book of Boba. I'm sorry, that's what they. Why would you create a show that's solely based off deconstructing Boba Fett?
Right.
When Boba Fett could not their moneymaker, but has the potential to be a moneymaker. So it's the same thing. But I'm more disappointed because Gunn is in charge. Like, Beetle was announced after Gunn took over. So for this to be a thing, and maybe they'll take it out. This is a trailer they've taken. I mean, they've showed trailers and they've taken stuff out of trailers, i.e. the DC. There's some of the Flash trailers. The Flash trailer that we got months ago was not the same one that we got. And I think they took stuff out of the movie. So maybe they'll say, George Lopez, you can't do that. You know, we're not going to call you racist, even though what you said is kind of racist because Batman's white and he's a fascist and you're Hispanic and you're the grandpa or dad of Blue Beetle. But I don't know.
Whatever, yeah.
But yeah, it's your point. Like, why did you say that? Well, it's like saying,
no. Why throw that in at the tail end of your trailer? Just don't even have it. Wait for the context of the movie if there's more context.
He's made comments like that though. Like,
he's a dipshit.
I'm such a like it's one thing to be proud of your race and that, but it's another to just crap on everyone else because you're just super proud. Like,
well, this is a funny thing. So in the first trailer, it ended with George Lopez's Uncle Rudy remarking, "Batman's a fascist." Numerous individuals took exception to the line, with the YouTuber Ryan Cannell criticizing it, saying, quote, "At the end, the Batman is fascist. This is pandering to these stupid fucking 20-year-old free profile picture, she, them, don't know what your fucking gender is, don't buy comics, don't have money to go to movies. That's who that fucking shit is pandering to." And he's right. Absolutely. That's basically who that's trying to pander to. The little freaking dipshit commie socialists out there. Weirdly enough, considering though communism brings a lot of fascism. Batman is a fascist. Fuck off with that. That's so stupid, he declared. Cannell's criticism would be shared to Twitter by CB Movie Fan, who wrote, "George Lopez saying Batman is a fascist has this MF riled up." This user added, "I need more lines like that from the movie if they're freaking out like this." And he has a clip of him. Soto responded to the tweet with 3 laughing emojis and a Skeletor gif that reads, "Well, my job's done," to piss off your viewer, your potential audience. Dude, you're not a wrestler kayfabing here at like fucking Vince McMahon or something. That's not what you're doing here. You're supposed to be promoting your movie, not causing division and but this is kind of what I mentioned earlier. Hate marketing. That's basically what has become the norm now for a lot of movies, is hate marketing their films. Soto would use a similar GIF in response to another user pointing out that certain people were upset about the inclusion of Batman's a fascist line in the trailer. Instead of Skeletor, he used one of President Barack Obama's dropping a microphone. He captioned it, "My job here is done." Now in an interview with Movie Maker, Soto is asking fans to give him and the film a chance. First, he attempted to explain the scene. "We always wanted to have fun with the way Rudy talked about other superheroes." He continued, "So to the people who got mad at it, give us a chance." So this might not be such a good movie after all. They're trying to now kind of, that or they really sunk their ass. we're just trying to have fun with the characters that we love. And everybody in our movie loves Batman and Superman and Flash. But that's just it. You cut out the context. Because yes, part of it starts with him saying Batman's a fascist, but you don't follow it up. You don't allow it to follow up. You just cut it and end it right there. That was a dumbass decision. Of course, you're going to cause some freaking flare up with that, just kind of ending it right there. And I remember first seeing it, kind of going, okay, maybe there's more to this scene going on than what's being shown. Because maybe it is like they all fire back on him. Maybe. But, still, poor form, guys. Poor form. And of course, we have criticisms about all of them, as we all should, Soto added, but that doesn't mean that we hate Batman. We love Batman. They're really trying to buy it back. The first star, the film star, Zolo Maraduena, also shared his thoughts on the criticism of Lopez's character, describing Batman as a fascist. F that. He elaborated, maybe Jaime and the audience don't agree with Rudy, but you're allowed to have your opinion. That's okay. But we don't get that. We don't get that from the trailer. And yes, that could be the full thing in the movie, but we aren't getting that immediately. That's not part of your presentation. That's not part of how you're trying to sell the movie. You're selling your movie by insulting legacy characters. That's not how you do it, dude. Maraduena then insinuated the line was included to rile up viewers. This is where the hate marketing comes in. If you felt some type of way about it, that was the point. So I think if you agree with it, if you don't agree with it, it was placed there for a reason. And all of the people who have their Batman shrines at home can keep them there and they don't have to worry. You got a Batman shrine, Hitman?
Not a shrine per se, but I do have all my McFarlane and stuff up here. So yes.
Despite what Soto is saying now, his initial reaction is more than likely what he truly believes, and he's changed his tune because he's seen box office bomb after box office bomb this year for DC films at the box office. His job as a director might not be safe in James Gunn's new plans for DC Universe. Gunn made it clear that the character of Blue Beetles is part of the DC Universe, but has not commented on whether the film is actually part of the DC Universe. When Gunn announced his DC Universe slate, he said, and then to move into a Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who is a marvelous part of the DCU. And last we heard, though, James Gunn also said The Flash was one of the greatest movies ever.
Mm.
But that hasn't turned out
CW Flash or this Flash?
The movie Flash. More recently, speaking with Michael Rosenbaum, Gunn said the first DCU character for sure is Blue Beetle, and the first full DCU movie is Superman. Interesting. Of note, Gunn says the character of Blue Beetle is the first DCU character, but that Superman Legacy is the first DCU film. What the? This whole new DC launch is being very confusing as shit, and I really don't think it's got a good legs to stand on. So the Blue Beetle film does not appear to be actually part of the DCU. It's also interesting that Maraduena seemingly had no qualms insinuating the line was done on purpose to provoke a reaction one way or the other. At least he had the stones to commit to what they did. Something that Soto clearly did not do. As noted above, he's trying to claim that a person calling Batman a fascist actually loves Batman. It's beyond absurd. So yeah, what do you think of all that, Hitman? You're the DC guy.
I think George Lopez, like all of us at times, need to think before we open our mouth, especially when you're going to call somebody a fascist.
Well, remember that's a movie. That's in the movie. That's the movie line. He has no control. That's just
nah. You can.
That was written in the script. He's following the script.
He can refuse. 1000%. I don't even think I would venture to guess that he wanted to say that. I don't know, man.
Comedian ad-libbing there.
yeah, I have my thoughts on I have my thoughts about George Lopez, and he has said stuff in the past that's
Right.
borderline racist, and I use borderline as a what I really mean is actually racist, but for PR purposes, I should probably say borderline, so I don't get hit with a defamation, lawsuit.
Right.
But no, I don't know. This is what I'll say, man. Before Gunn came to DC, DC really had no real plan. Like, is kind of like a squirrel. Just, I don't know. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it, and a squirrel, like easily distracted. No set plan, no 5-year plan. No 1-year plan, 2-year plan, 5-year plan. My goodness, they came out with Man of Steel, and then like however many 10 years, 12 years later, however many years later, they came out with. It's not that long, but like
yeah, Batman v Superman.
Yeah, and but nothing really flowed.
They had no plan whatsoever.
No, and that's why I dare I say credit to Marvel, like stuff flowed. Like you had Iron Man, you had
Hulk, they had everything leading to something.
Yeah, like Kevin Feige is very good at that. DC wasn't, and so all saying all that to say it, like, so when he came, and when I watched that video about like the State of the Union, I did think that I was like, I could see this be good, because I'm basing that off of the fact that we have had no direction. We've had no real commander in chief. The CEO of Warner Brothers should not be the CEO. This dude knows, like he can't even be a CEO of Quick Shop. Like, this guy is not fit to do it. He needs to go, right? So we'll see, but I don't know. And then to say that like Blue Beetle isn't part of the DCU, or like to go back and forth, like Blue Beetle is in the comics. He has had multiple animated movies with the Justice League, but like Teen Titans, like, so I don't understand how they're saying like he's not part of the DCU, but the DCU and so like you have the comics,
DCU, they mean they're talking about the film franchise. So like,
yeah,
that's what they're referring to.
Yeah, you have the DCU, and then you have the comics, and then like, so I don't know. It can all be very confusing, but so I don't know.
I just find it kind of funny that they now have the director coming out and kind of backpedaling a little bit.
Sure.
Like they said in this article.
But again, they're stupid though, because you're the one who let him say it. Like, whether one of two things happened: either George Lopez said that he wanted to say it, or they put it into the script. Either or, like, you shouldn't have done it, because if you put it into the script, then one could view it as like, well, you're, I guess, somehow pushing like racism. Like, you're, like, in a sense, you're okay with, like, you're calling out one guy being a fascist.
Well,
like, you're allowing the person to say it. So at the end of the day, like, you're allowing it to happen. So you're playing into racism.
Like it is though. Like I said, and this is what Eric Bischoff would always say on his podcast. Context is king.
Right.
We do not know the full scene. We've only gotten that snippet that was used for a trailer. Like I said, it very well could turn out that once he says Batman's a fascist, everybody turns on him and starts giving him shit for saying that sort of thing. And then maybe backpedal, and then maybe, changes his stance, or goes, oh, no, you guys are right, but,
Just so I'm not an idiot.
I'm just saying.
I'm just kind of racism, giving, though? Like, to say, if I call you a fascist, I guess that's not really racist.
Well, I mean, they do certainly, it is funny that it is on the white character, yes.
But it is, but just so ironically enough, like, Blue Beetle's Hispanic, and George Lopez is, the character itself is Hispanic, and he's saying it about a white man. So let's besmirch the white man because of the 500 years of slavery or whatnot. But if a white man says something about a Hispanic, if Bruce Wayne says something about, Ra's al Ghul, then he's a racist because Ra's is, Arabian, technically Middle Eastern, but
right.
Ra's can say anything he wants about Batman because he's white. Like, again, you're placating to the whole, it's okay for, it's critical race theory in a sense. It's like, the Mexican can call the white person racist because all the terrible things the white person did, but the white person can't. If the white person rebuttals, well, then that's racist because the only reason why you're saying that is because they're not white.
Well, it's been a very common trend, yes, especially
it's
with
just
movies.
The placation of it all, and that's what it's like. It's like, you can't escape it. It happens in Marvel. It happens in DC. It happens. The only other place that you have a somewhat safe haven, it's not even a real safe haven, is creator owned. But again, it's creator owned. So it's so stupid because everybody pushes an agenda. But again, it doesn't make any sense. Why put such a stupid line?
It's very similar. Think about it like this too. It's very similar with over the decades of how through movies, through media of any kind, from comedians to sitcoms to whatever, they were for the longest time they've attacked the Christian faith, the Catholic faith. Bit by bit, they eroded at it, have destroyed the presence of religion in society as a whole, and now they've just shifted their focus to another target, basically being white people. Same thing. They pick and pick and pick at it slowly but surely, and just keep at it, and this is basically an erosion, so to speak, to basically, like, what's happening is this, to beat them down, make them compliant, complacent, you name it. What happened? What it's basically happened to those two faiths of religion. They've become complacent. They've become compliant to all the demands, to change, to rewrite, to allows things that they normally didn't allow. So it's some very similar things going on. To your point.
Well, and like I said, I mean, I won't shy away from it. I've said in the past, it's all about removing, like, believe what you want to believe. That's that's your call. It's your right. But it's like they've tried to remove God from everything. This country that we live in has been. Nobody can deny or refute or argue that this country was built on Christian values, Christianity.
Yep.
Like
very much so. Yes,
100%. And what have we done? And not we, but like they've tried to remove God out of everything. They started with the schools, and they want to remove God. They want to remove God and become their own God, little g, right? And so, how do you do that? Desensitize. It's like desensitize. I can't say the word. Desensitize. Yes, desensitize. You push. Love is love. You push all these different things that these companies are pushing, right? And you replace it with, you push it by you remove God by pushing this agenda, and Tim, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know what Tim believes. I've never asked the guy, but he talks a lot about culture and morality and all this and that, and culture warrior, and it's just it's interesting, man, that they're doing it, and they're using, like we talked about it, they're using things that people get sucked in, the escapism, right? So you don't want to hear anything about this stuff at the polls, right? You don't want to hear about it on CNN or Fox or whatever. You don't want to talk about these issues, right? Yeah, icky, right? So how do you get people? How do you reprogram people, right? Do it through escapism. You do it through Star Wars. You do it through the things you love, because I don't know. I'm crazy.
No, you're exactly right, David.
Because you love Star Wars, so it's like, well, man, they were just talking about this on CNN and whatnot, but like this same issues in Star Wars. Like, is this a thing? Like, I love Star Wars. Is it okay? Like Obi-Wan having a relationship with a boy, like I don't agree with that out there, but they do it in here, so it's like, is that okay? Like it's how do you boil how do you kill it's the whole boiling a frog?
The frog, yeah.
Boiling the frog bit by bit. You should watch it. You should watch a movie called Nefarious, man. Steve Dace created it, and it's an amazing movie, and it really It's a Christian movie, but it basically it's. I'd say just go watch it, man. But it's the Boiling Frog. It's an attack on culture, and it's it's very Palpatine-esque over time. You can't just put somebody in a boiling water and turn the heat up, man. Like and that's why I feel so bad to say, but that's why like Palpatine was brilliant, man. I'm not giving credit to the devil or anything, but like this has happened over time, a slow. So,
yep.
Yeah, to your point, and you see it. You absolutely see it, and you and I will sit here and we talk about this stuff, and it's like it's just as mind blowing to see like you're using you use the one thing that people go to escape, like the escapism.
That's why there's been a lot of people getting fed up with a lot of going to movies and shit like that. Not only just because of the cost alone, but also because all this shit. There's no getting away from it.
It's like we're failing at, we may be failing at pushing this at the polls or getting people on board with this. So we're just gonna overdose them. We're gonna do it at the polls, and then we're gonna do it with the stuff that they love, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to make it look like it's the new norm. It's the new norm. Like boys can be girls and girls can be boys. It's normal now. It hasn't been normal since the dawn of time, but it's okay now. I was in California.
Okay now.
I'm not like everybody knows. Like I was on vacation out in California, and I was at a store, and I was at the self checkout, and my brother was behind me, and I heard this mom with this little kid, boy, I believe, and maybe it was a girl, I can't remember, but she was in front of me, and she's like something along the lines of like, well, that's because boys can be girls and girls can be boys, or boys think that they can be girls or they can be boys, something along those lines. And I said, we were going to the car, and my brother was like, did you hear what the mom said? I was like, you mean about the boy being girl and girl being boy thing? He's like, yeah. I was like, it is shame on that parent, because that parent, instead of saying, well, yeah, they believe that they believe, that parent should have said, that is absolutely not true. That is unequivocally, objectively false. That a boy cannot be a girl and a girl cannot be a boy. Now, there are things that we call tomboys. There are boys that have, like, there are girls that have those traits that they like.
There's girls that just happen to be either liking at that time boy things that a lot of times they grow out of.
But you don't get to be born a boy and then do this Superman, Sailor Moon, and transform into a girl.
Nice callback. There you go.
You don't get to do it, and so like shame on that parent, right?
Well, and
shame on you for not standing up.
A bit of the opposite end of the spectrum. In our neck of the woods in the store, I did hear a father being firm that you're born as you are. You're born a boy, you're a boy. You're born a girl, you're a girl. Boom. He made it very flat and simple. I was like, bravo, thank you. And he was probably younger than me, so there is that sliver of hope for the younger generation.
Yeah. So, but that, and I'm in fear for these kids because they will go to Disney Plus, and I'm a hypocrite because I have Disney Plus, and I have it because there are movies that I do watch, and there's and then we do this, right? So I don't want to catch a virus on my computer. Go into some. I watched that on my perfectly legal television. I saw this movie, but I had to watch poker ads for the entirety of the.
Interesting.
Anyways.
But
what was I talking about? But they'll watch a movie or a show, and it's like young Obi-Wan is now Obi-Wanette. Or Obi-Wan turns into Obi-Wendy, and they push it, because a kid is going to have the mental capacity or the wherewithal to decipher that's not right. Like most kids will be like, well, no, I'm a boy and that's a girl, but like they're like, you know what I mean? Like you and I can like, nah, that's not a thing. Like you're. Dude, you are not a dude, right? And homegirl, you are definitely not a girl. Yeah.
Oh well, in Crimson Raptor, the problem is that the left typically controls the culture war. Too many people on the right discredit movies, video games, etc., and then wonder why leftist logic becomes the norm. Yes, agreed. We do at least have a few things going on with they've deemed it the Iron Age. You have people that are creating comics and stuff like that. The problem is, like, especially with like the video game end of things, it's very difficult because video games take a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's the problem on that front. And that is like, even I think Tim has pointed this out. Start infiltrating, start getting into this shit too. You know, if you are on that side, start doing exactly what they did. You know,
I saw an article.
But surely. It's going to be a long game, but hey, they played the long game too. So,
you know, something I want to end on, because I don't know how late you want to go, but one thing I want to end on, or not end on, but talk about really quick, is I saw this article, I forget, or video or whatever it was, but it was like the right boycotts are working. And the example they gave is like Anheuser-Busch and Target specifically.
Yeah, those two, yeah.
And I think through this all, like, because there's been this negative connotation or this misconception that like there's more left than there are right. There's more liberals than there are conservatives, or there's more of this left-wing just linguistic nonsense, crazy thinking versus the right conservative morality. Whatever. There's more of them than us, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting is through this like Anheuser-Busch thing and Target thing, like the silent, like people are waking up.
The silent majority,
right? Because you start going after
becoming a little more vocal.
Yeah, attack me, attack my wife. You know whatever you want to do, but you start going after the kids.
Yep,
like
that's the
now. Mama Bear
was
away.
Yeah, that was kind of the both the blessing and the curse when it came to the whole COVID stuff was that parents were home and they were hearing what was being taught at the schools.
Right.
That was the beginning. That was the spark right there, because it started becoming. Wait, I don't think my kid.
Me. Yeah, come attack me, because I can defend myself, and I have the discernment, and I can discern, you know what's right and what's wrong, right?
Right.
But a kid may not. And maybe like simple stuff, yeah. But like now you start going after a kid and you start teaching this kid, like, no, like it's okay. Like you are a bull. You are an it that can be an it. You can decide what you want to be. Like that's where, like, man, back and it goes back to like again with the Star Wars Celebration last year, or this last Star Wars Celebration, where this kid, or was it the kid that had the microphone in his mouth, with the dude was holding the microphone to his son's mouth, or whatever the picture was you showed, like.
That
like, and people think like I've been on this planet. We're probably close in age, and I've never seen it this bad within the last probably 5-10 years. Maybe not even 10 years is a stretch. Probably within the last 5 to 6, maybe. It's been
definitely a growing problem.
You know, it's biblical, man, where it says, you know, the right will become wrong and wrong will become right, man, and
that's where we're heading.
And it's scary because people actually believe that it's okay. Like their side of it's like, you know, it's one thing if so let's say you're a Patriots fan and I'm a Colts fan, right? And I will tell you that no, Colts are better than Patriots no matter what, and the Patriots suck. And you're gonna sit there and say, no, man, Patriots are absolutely the best team ever. It's you know, proven, and the Colts suck, right? So that is a subjective like issue, right? Because either side's going to say that one could be right, one could be wrong. But if I sit there and tell you that no, a boy can be a girl and a girl can become a boy, and you're like, no, like a boy is a boy and a girl's a girl, right? That's not subjective. That is objective. Your stance is objective because like it's truth.
Right.
So these issues are not subjective issues. Like you can have your opinion on it, but at the end of the day, it is an objective issue, whether it be morality, whether it be biology, whether it be the stupid issue about gender, like it's boy and girl. There's not boy, girl, rock. There's not boy, girl, jellyfish. There's not it, boy, girl, donkey. It is boy, girl. So you could sit there and say that like there's 32,000 genders and X chromosome, and the whole argument they use about the third chromosome, that's an anomaly. right? Well, if it's an anomaly, then it could be more than like no.
It's a very it's
There are
very rare thing that is ever supposed to happen.
Right. It's like there's a seahorse thing that changes gender for not its gender, but there's a seahorse. There's like a seahorse. My brother was mentioning about it, but there's something that like it was changed a chromosome or something for what was it? I don't want to misspeak, but it was
there's
like for
frogs.
survival.
There's
yes.
Yeah. There's the thing with that though is that has always been part of their biology. That has never been part of ours. And the fact that you have to dose yourself with all sorts of crazy chemicals and have ridiculously insane surgeries just to transform themselves. Sorry, you're not natural. You're not real.
It's like these boys that want to become like these men that want to become girls. Like they're not doing it naturally. They're on estrogen. They're having boobs created. They're having certain like. If your stance was true, if your stance is correct, and I'm a liar, and I'm wrong, why can't you do it naturally? If a boy can just, if you can just choose what you want to be, why do you have to alter biology and take?
Why couldn't you not go into a certain like basically because like it's the whole
it's
control.
Superman. It's a Superman the cartoon you showed. Like you should be able to do it.
Oh God. Basically, but I mean, it's like it is that whole like it's a like kind of it gets described in the Jurassic Park movie. A frog in a single-sex environment finds a way to then transform itself into the opposite sex. You cannot do that with a human being. You cannot put a human being in a single-sex environment, and that one will transform into a opposite sex. Doesn't work that way.
Right.
We are not made like that.
No. So
I won't even say it.
If people want,
that is what it is.
If they want to get mad, well, you shouldn't be a political show. Star Wars was political, very political. So suck a fart.
Well, and it's just also
no, but it's issues.
It's all part. It's all tied together. They tied it together a very long time ago because they made the personal political. That was their stance. That was what their slogan. Silence is violence. Personal is political. Well, all right, here we go.
Yeah. No, but I think, it's issues that like need to be talked about and people don't want to talk about it. And like, you know what, like, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to, Lord knows I'm not the best person. I struggle every single day. I don't sin every single day, but like, these are issues that need to be talked about. And you know what, like, yeah, we're here for fun and games. We're here to, we're here for fun and games and to chat, but like, I think we agree on a lot of stuff, and this stuff needs to be talked about. And if we want to talk about if it has to do with what we're reviewing and we want to talk about it, then so be it. I'm not going to be.
If it comes up, it comes up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's also being brought up because it's what they're doing within Disney. They're doing it within DC. Maybe not necessarily the boy being girl stuff, but DC's got
they've been throwing that stuff into plenty of the comics and shit like
for
that.
Sure.
Oh yeah, it's all there.
It's that whole stuff. So, you're not going to escape it, and because you're not going to escape it, you need to figure out if you're going to stand up and if you don't believe in it, are you going to stand up and fight against it, or are you going to become complacent because you just don't like you said what did you say something before you said political's personal?
Personal is political. The oh god, what was the other thing I fucking said?
Whatever, being quiet because it's
the silence is violence and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's better be quiet than stand up and have a conversation. Like, and at the end of the day, believe what you want to believe. That's on you. You have free will to if you want to believe that a boy can be a jellyfish, that's on you. I don't know how you come to that conclusion, but if you want to believe that, then fine. But just because you believe that doesn't mean it's true.
The thing is, though, and this was on the spacing last night. Tusk and Bob went into this one, and there was a point where, like, and I agreed with him with his stance on it. It's like, yeah, there was a point where a lot of us were just like, you know what, you be you live your life, just you keep it to yourself or whatever. That's cool. Just you can do what you want to do. It's your life. You live it. The thing is, though, that there came to a point where then they started encroaching on everybody else. They started then dictating and enforcing on how we should speak, how we should do this, how we should do that. And then also, of course, it started then they were starting in on the kids and everything like that, on other people's kids that aren't their own. You can raise your kids how you want to raise your kids, but don't start. That's when you start getting into some problems, when you start, pushing your shit, your weird, I hate to say morals or whatever, but yeah, you start pushing your lifestyle onto other people's kids. Those people start having a problem, and the rest of us are having a problem with this. And not sorry, we're done with it. You're all lumped together now. You've all lumped us together in a certain breadbasket of things. Well, guess what? One good turn deserves another, my friend. You're going to get it.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. We don't want any of this, but, people are going to start. It's going to come to a head somewhere down the line.
Logically, it's easier to go after kids because they may not have all the facts. They're young, they're easily influenced, and it's harder to change an adult's mind. So go after the young kids.
Well, yeah,
so
kids
you
are
don't
like,
have to...
it's like the saying is, the kid's mind is like a sponge. They just absorb everything. So naturally, yeah, that's how you start suddenly getting a bunch of Transformer kids running around. The kids are picking this up from their parents. They want their parents' acceptance and stuff like that. That's going to happen.
Yeah, you can see how wicked this culture is.
Without a doubt.
But it's so insane because it's in your face. It used to. I like to think, back. It used to be behind the scenes, right? But now you got people. You got this Sam Smith guy openly worshiping Satan on the Grammys, and the Grammys are putting it on TV.
Yep, they're full on board with it.
And then he's making a swimsuit with a zipper that gives that disgusting swimsuit for kids, and then he's going around saying that Satan cares about your pronouns, like out in the open.
If that doesn't say a lot about their
like this is not like made up stuff. Like
I know.
I know. I'm just saying, like, did the Grammys, and the Grammys like sanctioned it, probably said, well, it's art. Right, like this, the wicked, like
it's performative,
bro. The devil is out in full force, out in the open, not hiding anymore. Like this is go time, man. Like, it's like, and there's a song. I was watching. I'm whatever. I listen to Daily Wire. I listen to Ben Shapiro. I listen to those guys, not like avidly, but like I listen. But there was a song that is at a Pride rally where the song was saying like, "We're coming for your kids."
Yeah.
People are chanting this.
Yeah. Oh, no, but Hitman, they were just joking around. It's all good. They were just poking fun.
Yeah, man. I mean,
no. That was such a line of bullshit too. Because in the same manner of which they were doing, we're coming for your kids. All right. What if a group of people was basically shouting that, but saying, we're coming for the Jews, and doing a bunch of, Zig Heiling? Would they suddenly allow that to be a joke? I doubt that. I doubt that one fucking bit. So sorry, no, you don't get to go. It's just a joke, bro.
No. Okay, was it a joke? So the LA Dodgers. I don't know. We got some time. I don't have to go anywhere.
I don't have to go anywhere either.
The LA Dodgers there's a ceremony. There was some like women's award or something. I don't want to misspeak, but there was an award ceremony that was at the, like, in the parking lot or at the stadium where it was like a women's award. I don't know what it was, but there was an award ceremony where basically they had Jesus on a crucifix and somebody was using it as a stripper pole.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I think that was one of the Pride events.
Right. So was that a joke? That's the most blasphemous thing. One of the most blasphemous things you can do. Was that a joke?
Or yet again, they're further attacks on religion.
No, I get just Christianity though. They wouldn't.
Oh yeah,
they would not do that with Buddhism or Islam, Hinduism or Scientology or anything like that. But it's just conveniently Christianity. Why?
Yeah.
Because
they're easy to pick
God's
on.
God.
They're beaten dogs. They are the people of the Christian Catholic. They're beaten dogs.
No, man, there's no point in disproving a false God, right? And we don't have to get religious. Like that's fine, but like I just find it very interesting that you choose Christianity over, Hinduism. Or the Middle East has like what was I reading, like 32,000 different like gods or something, but you choose Christianity. It's just very convenient and ironic that you choose Christianity out of the Baha'i faith, Scientology, Mormonism.
Oh, as you said though, we were a Christian nation. Now look what they're doing to it.
Well, I think it's because they know that like Christianity is the true. So the true it's like it's God, man, and so I don't know. I don't hide it, man. You know me. You know I'm a Christian. I don't care. I don't stray away from it. I don't care. I will. You want to have a discussion, fine. But like, it's asinine and it's blasphemous, and I just find it absolutely disgusting that like that's okay,
right?
But again, it's art and it's just a joke. Haha. No, it's not. And God won't. Newsflash, just to let these people know, like God's not going to be mocked. So you might be able to say some stuff now that you'll have to square with that.
Answer him with the pearly gates.
Heated, man. Woof. What a show.
Crimson Raptor was in there saying Steelers are better than the Colts and Pats. That's simply the truth. And he liked my Transformer kids.
Is this before or after?
I think that's when you were mentioning. This was when you were mentioning the sports teams, and that was when I said, the kids with the minds like a sponge, and that's how you get little Transformer kids.
I don't know about the Steelers, but.
I'm not much for sports ball. I have not paid attention to it in a long time.
I don't either. Ever since they started kneeling for the flag, I stopped watching.
Good on you.
So
let's get to this article that you popped into the Discord, which is kind of counter to what we were just talking about with the Blue Beetle and the Witcher people. But James Mangold derides fans as divisive for not liking his deconstruction of Indiana Jones in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It jumped on me. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter, Mangold was asked by Brian Davids, life is filled with peaks and valleys, and I appreciate when my fictional heroes, such as Indy, have their own ups and downs. So why does a segment of the audience seem to want these legacy characters to be infallible? I just can't figure out why anyone would want such little drama. It's not an infallibility, you dipshit. I mean, for one, we just want our freaking characters, but not even. Indy was never infallible. Yes, he came out on top, but he got his shit kicked in between. We just want. I mean, if anything, too, it's just wanting good moral characters, not this morally gray bullshit. We want heroes. We want those people that are the better. We don't want to see an everyday person up on the goddamn screen. We want something that's better, something of. I mean, I hate to say it's something to look up to, but as that a positive role model, that positive example. Mangold replied, well, there's a point where these characters become symbols more than characters. And so there becomes this anxiety that if you examine the humanity of a hero, you somehow weaken them. No. I think we've seen plenty of Indy's humanity through the 3 films. His preservation of history, his, the way he's tried to save some people, hell, even the Nazi chick. But that's his character that's him. That's his humanity. That's him, standing up for good, being a good person, trying to preserve that history. That's him being these people. I don't see where it's that complicated. He continued, and honestly, I can't speak for how fans relate and wrestle with these questions in relation to other movies, but certainly in relation to mine, I think your question almost has my answer built into it. I mean, I think you're in a sense already addressing it. Good drama gives a hero a problem. If a movie is about a beautiful hero who is capable of anything and is virtually indestructible, he has not watched the Indiana Jones films.
I don't think so.
And is without any personal issues or concerns, then you just have a fashion video with action. I'm a fan of starting a character in one place to go to another, Mangold elaborated. Movies are a continuum. By definition, in drama, a character starts in one place and ends up in another. Excuse me. Mangold then accused critics of his deconstruction of being divisive when it was his and Lucasfilm's choice to deconstruct Indiana Jones in the first place. He said, so if people want to be divisive in the age of social media, they can focus on where a character starts as opposed to where they end, or they can focus on where they end as opposed to where they start. In reality, for Harrison, who's playing this character, he's tracing an arc and he's changing through the whole picture. So it all depends on where you're landing and where you're pointing your finger on that timeline, he concluded. Ironically, Mangold previously admitted he was deconstructing Indiana Jones and that moviegoers would have to readjust and retool their brains for this guy. In a previous interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he explained how the film would transition from Indiana Jones in his prime to a much older Indiana Jones. It reminds the audience of the contrast between a hero in his physical prime and a hero at 70. We're not relying solely on audience's memory of the previous films. You're making a sequel to another goddamn movie. You have to keep the other movies in mind. Of course, people are going to probably watch the previous films to get reacquainted with everything if they haven't watched it in a while. It reminds everyone what he's done, what he's survived, and what he's accomplished. By showing him in his most hardy and then finding him at 70 in New York City, it produces for the audience a kind of wonderful whiplash of how they're going to have to readjust and retool their brains for this guy, he asserted. His past is a live memory for the audience, changing over a man who is now living with anonymity in a world that no longer cares or recognizes the things he's felt so deeply about, Mangold elaborated. He then concluded, you're left with a multi-layered perception of his character, both what he was and what he is, and how the world is different between the first 20 minutes of the movie. This is not the first time Mangold has lashed out and made accusations against Indiana Jones fans expressing their concerns. Mangold infamously threw a temper tantrum when YouTuber Matthew Kadish shared his concerns about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery back in June 2021. Kadish wrote on Twitter, to anyone thinking Indiana Jones 5 might be good, just let me point out, 1, Steven Spielberg is not directing. 2, Kathleen Kennedy is producing. 3, Harrison Ford is 78 years old. 4, it's written by Jonathan Kasdan, who wrote Solo. Mangold took exception to the tweet and responded by insulting him. Thanks, Matt. 1, keep making the world a better place, crapping on things in the first week of production from your basement. 2, never seen the script by John. Nothing against him, just reality. Buttersworth and I started from a blank page. 3, 1 to 3 are hugely talented and all at my side. Okay. Oh, Spielberg, Kennedy, Harrison Ford. But no, Spielberg left the project. What is he talking about?
Did he?
Yeah, he was out. Last I knew. Mangold would continue to deride and Kadish in his podcast team, The Salty Nerd. The Salty Nerd tweeted, "We don't have basements, but we do have a kick-ass studio with a Batman statue." I remember that clapback. Mangold replied, "Yeah, that's a kick-ass studio. Congrats on the Batman statue and the jar of corks. So how about you let me finish my film and then bitch all you want in front of your vinyl bricks lit by your fancy bounce light, and maybe don't call opinion news." Dude, I guess that is kind of somebody's getting quite snippy here. He would also describe Kadish as a clickbaiter and nightcrawler. Mangold tweeted in response to a user encouraging him, "Thanks, Axe. I don't mind people griping and prognosticating, but not on my watch. False info, ageism, and snark from so-called journalists is going to be confronted directly and forcefully." Yeah, we got that, you passive-aggressive twat. Mangold added, "In my opinion, these clickbaiters like to dish it out, but like nightcrawlers, can't stand the light." They were giving it back pretty well, dude. You just didn't like that they were actually firing back. Very feminine of you. James Mangold received Mangold's film received an awful B+ cinema score and a mediocre 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb. One report indicates that only 9% of people who saw the film recommended it to their friends and family. The film had an abysmal opening, only bringing in 60.3 million domestically. So far, the film has only grossed 102.3 million domestically and another 69 million internationally, from a global gross of 171.8 million. The film is expected to lose the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm more than 250 million due to its massive $300 million budget. So what do you make of James Mangold's latest comments deriding fans Indiana Jones? It comes as a basic bitch kind of mentality of really clearly not trying to sell your movie, and just certainly being very snide and childish and everything.
I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan. I guess. Well, I'm more of a Han Solo guy. Let's be honest. But I mean, I have watched. I think the only one I've really watched. I think I've watched maybe a little bit of the first one, but really the second one, Temple of Doom, just because my dad, I'd watch it all the time. So I'm not very knowledgeable about Indiana Jones, but well, we should say this for next show because what we were talking about. But I want to bookmark. Bookmark's the right word. I want to table this one because I do want to get into this, but you have got to watch the Dial of Diarrhea, and I'm gonna have to, I guess, finish watching it or pick up where I fell asleep.
There's a bit of a teaser for next week then.
Yeah.
We'll be getting into the Dial of Dysentery's
which is better, dysentery or diarrhea? I've been calling it the
I don't know. There's been so many different names for it. The Dial of Dysentery just seems to be the one that's stuck in my brain right now.
Yeah.
So what can I say? That's definitely been the one that's been stuck in my mind for the moment.
All right. But a little bit of a teaser for next week.
But yeah, for Mangold though, firing like that, what do you make of it, or do you think you feel like it's too tied up with wanting to talk about the film?
I think to properly go into it, I don't know. I kind of want to just talk. I can give my thoughts, but I would much rather get my thoughts after you've watched it and I've watched it completely because. Yeah, I think it just flow better.
Well, I mean, I'll just speak from the perspective certainly of seeing one. I've seen all four.
Okay.
Of the Indiana Jones films, mainly. Yes, I will watch
the one with Shia LaBeouf too.
Yes, I have seen that one.
Oof.
But I watched it. The only time the time I finally watched it was with the Riff Tracks audio commentary making fun of it. But I mean. Between what I've heard, this is making Crystal Skull look good. But you know, that's the thing. Like with the Indiana Jones core 3 films, just going off the core three, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade are all fantastic movies that are very pulpy in that old kind of serial style of telling stories of an action hero going out and getting shit done. But the thing is, though, is like Indy has setbacks. Indy gets beat up. He does struggle. He has to keep basically kind of coming back with, especially like when you watch like Raiders and stuff like that. I mean, Temple of Doom is just so outlandish, but I enjoy the shit out of that movie.
How is it outlandish?
I mean, you got a guy.
You saying it outlandish is outlandish.
You got the dude pulling hearts out like freaking Kano from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that movie. That movie is freaking
saying
awesome.
That it's outlandish is outlandish.
It's a bit over the top, but it's a good over the top. It's a fun. Like I said, dude ripping a heart out of a dude's chest.
Dude, every time we watch Andor episode, it's our hearts being ripped out. Like, what do you mean?
Good point.
I've been doing this since Book of Mando.
Oh God, but I mean, like I said, he is presented as a human character. He's not like the superhero. He's not like Neo from the Matrix dodging bullets at every chance. No, he's taking some hits. Like I said, he gets beaten up. He gets thrown through the dirt. He gets all of that happening to him. But that's the whole like thing is that he then gets himself back up and he keeps fighting the bad guys. He one way or another does triumph over them. He shows smarts. He shows vulnerability and everything like that. This is all just some loaded shit just because this guy at Mangold is feeling pissy because people are trashing this movie for all intents and purposes, from what I've heard, well freaking deserved, until I will finally watch it this week so we can talk about it next week. But yeah, it just kind of all comes out, and then he has to try and find anything with that whole like the back and forth with the Salty Nerd podcast people. It's like, dude, really, you're gonna get that fucking petty about it? Like I said, very very kind of like feminine vibes with all that. But I mean, you're on social media. So
we just live in a time where it's like, let's just deconstruct characters. This is where we're at.
I am tired of deconstruction. So that's why I stayed away. That's why I've stayed away from certain comic books, because they were deconstructing heroes.
I feel like they're gonna have who's so. I guess we'll find out when we watch the full movie. But do you think that they now have like a female Indiana Jones, Indiana Ed?
That was Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Basically, she's supposed to basically replace him, or at least that was what some of the rumors out there were saying, was that by the end of the movie, she basically takes his place. But I heard that was kind of, they possibly changed it, or that never was. I don't know. But honestly, they should have recasted the role when they did Crystal Skull. Because you can't have old Indiana Jones running around.
I mean, you had old Han Solo.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm allowed
you had
a little bit of leeway.
The old character, the old, was it Far From Home or No Way Home or whatever it was? You had to bring old Doc Ock and those old.
Well, no, they de-aged them a bit to be their counterparts from the original movies.
Yeah.
So that was like the whole point of that. They were supposed to be the time of which their characters basically died at the end of those respective movies.
Mm.
So that's why there's a little bit of difference there.
Mm.
Yeah. But no, I mean, if they were going to do the whole recast, he should have been recasted in Crystal Skull. They shouldn't have had old Indiana Jones running around. Harrison Ford, just maybe, dude, I'm sure you got the money. Retire. Go out. You aren't going out on any kind of high. Even like Dustin Bob said last night, it's like, when was Harrison Ford's like last really good movie?
Air Force One.
That was back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like his heyday was
Was he in Total Recall? No, he wasn't in Total Recall.
No. The original was Arnold Schwarzenegger. The remake was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
can't believe I just
Force One.
remembered that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Air Force One.
Yeah. So Fugitive and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, Fugitive.
I mean, all that shit was in the 90s. Like,
Yep.
what has he done like in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. I like the Indiana Jones character. I always thought they were fun movies. Oh well. Shit happens.
Another franchise that they've just destroyed.
Doop. Another one bites dust.
I mean,
this is basically what the Kathleen Kennedy has put the nail in all the coffins.
I mean, if there's an award, if there's an accolade,
I hear he's a pretty good pilot.
if there's an accolade for most franchises that you've destroyed, she's at the top of the list.
Oh yeah, she's like that meme of death going from door to door, and you just see the blood at the end of the doors. It's her face on death and going on to the next door. Although I don't know what she'd go to next.
Yeah,
considering she's taken out Star Wars, she's taken out Willow, she's now taken out freaking Indiana Jones. I mean, what else is there for her to
I mean, I think I don't know. I was never really a fan of Willow because of.
Well, neither was I in particular, but there are people out there that had their soft spot for that movie. It was a fun, it was a goofy little kind of movie. It was fun. It was just it was very fantasy. Almost trying to kind of be a Lord of the Rings-esque, but their own world. I mean, this is the thing. This is kind of the thing. Like, the whole reason why George Lucas created Star Wars was because he couldn't do a movie based on... Oh, is there anybody in the chat that can help me with that? I forget what... There was a series that George Lucas wanted to create a movie for, but he couldn't get the rights to it, so he created Star Wars. And I think that might have been something similar to Willow. Maybe they couldn't get the rights to Lord of the Rings, so they... Thank you, Wookiee. Flash Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But, that's kind of the thing. You couldn't get the rights to something, make something new. There you go. Boom. That's the sort of mentality people should be having more, is like, okay, I can't use, although for these people, it's not their favorite franchise. They're just using it as a platform. But, I mean, for anybody else, yeah, maybe take inspiration for something that you loved, create something brand new. I'm not saying it's easy, but I mean, if you've got the passion for it, do that. Work on that. That should be the way people should be really looking at it, is going down that sort of pathway. So if you can't do it, all right, create something brand new.
Can you imagine how better Flash Gordon would have been if George got his hands on it?
It would have been. I'm curious what his take would have been.
Yeah, I mean, Flash Gordon is popular now.
I need to watch that.
Yeah. So imagine what it'd be like if he had gotten his rights or gotten the rights to it. So
absolutely, it would have been interesting. Okay. Well, I think that'll do. What do you think? You got anything?
So pick up. No, I don't. I want to say I do. Yeah.
You want to talk? You definitely want to. Okay. So I'm gonna have to watch Dial of Destiny so we can talk about it next week for sure.
Yeah. Kingslots.net or whatever. Whatever. Oh, such a.
You put that in the private chat. You don't put that out there. Good Lord.
Oh dear. Sorry. Kingslots.net. Follow it. Place your bets. Place your bets. We'll talk about them next week.
Everybody, thank you so much for popping into the chat. Jason, Wolverine Snicked, Crimson Raptor's been hanging around and chatting away. Prismatics was here earlier. Wookie Be Bad as always. Thank you, sir. Brendan Tran, awesome as always, popping in. Acid Stormblade, thank you again. That $2 on Rumble. You're too generous, sir. You've already subscribed to that channel over there. You're awesome. Thank you. But yeah, and then thank you to anybody that's been watching the replays and stuff like that. You're fantastic. We've been funny enough, like a lot of the clips that I've been putting out Thank you very much. Great show as always, says Crimson After. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. I've been putting out the clips from last week's episode, and man, it's been funny. The views have been good, like quickly good, that I'm not used to. Usually they kind of trail up and everything watching it, but I mean, even like one that I dropped last night is already up to 100 views. I'll take it. I'm a happy camper. And the previous one before that is up to 228, so that's really cool. So thank you all. If you're watching all the content, please hit that silly subscribe button, that like button, and all that jazz so you can get those updates. I know I'll be doing more. I'll be trying to get into some streams for playing some games. I'm been having some computer issues, so I don't know. Monday I might be taken out for a bit to take it in for some repairs. I just got to find a place to do so. But otherwise, hopefully by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I should be back up and running, especially Thursday, so I can join Static and Wookiee for the weekend pregame. And also Jason, I'll usually jump in with them if they're putting on their stream on Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights. I forget which at the moment. But otherwise, yeah, that's all I've got. What about you, sir?
Nothing.
Okay, cool. All right, with that, good night, everybody. Have a good one. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring. The one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter red.